Come get your tickets because the Mets are back in town, and it's always a special night when number 33 takes the hill. Met fans ready after a very successful road trip to welcome the team back and root Matt Harvey on to victory. At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Washington Nationals. Friday Night Baseball is presented by Time Warner Cable. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, yes, it's Keith Hernandez, and Ron Darling with you tonight as the Mets open a 7-game homestand with the first of 3 against the Washington Nationals. The Mets just concluded a very successful 7-4 road trip, but tonight, a very unique situation for a Major League Baseball team. Their third different time zone in 3 days.
You know, if I have to say anything about this team on this road trip, it is resilient. They were just outstanding. Those 7 wins, don't forget, they were walked off 3 times during that trip, but they were able to keep their heads about them on very little sleep and take 7 out of 11.
Well, the way they won yesterday was their 35-year-old playing 3 consecutive weeks without a day off. Marlon Byrd had a huge impact late in the game.
Well, he's had a great June thus far, hitting .293, 6 home runs. That leads the Mets, and 14 RBIs also leads the Mets. This 2-run shot off Mark Belisle put the crown, the cherry on top for the road trip, and then he made this fine play the following inning in the bottom of the ninth to deny Michael Gadire a leadoff double.
So the Mets come home with Byrd again playing right field today. David Wright had a day off yesterday, so maybe he's not going to be quite so tired, but everybody else should be, except for the guy on the hill. Matt Harvey flew ahead of the team to come home, and he has been just spectacular.
And sometimes just him rested alone is enough. He was outstanding in Philadelphia. The first hitter up was Jimmy Rollins. He started with a curveball. Rollins stepped out of the box, looked in his dugout. He looked in the Mets dugout. He said, "What's going on here?" But what was going on over 6 innings through the rain and the fog is that Harvey just blew away the Philadelphia Phillies.
Well, Harvey leads the league in strikeouts. He leads the league in ERA. He leads the league in opponent's batting average. And he's won his last 2 starts. The team has begun scoring some runs for him. 7-1. He goes for his 8th win tonight as the Mets play the Nationals at Citi Field. All the action coming your way tonight right here on SNY. devices in the house than anyone else. Call 1-800-TW-CABLE, Time Warner Cable. Enjoy sports better. By Nissan, don't miss Nissan's free to choose 4th of July event. Choose an innovative Nissan and save big on the fuel-efficient lineup. Bonus cash ends soon. By AT&T, rethink possible. By Geico. By Honda. Visit your Honda dealer today for great deals. Only a Honda is a Honda. And by Bud Light Lime, summer is calling. Get to Citi Field Thursday afternoon for your All-Star Gnome. Presented by Pepsi. The first 25,000 fans attending the 110 game against the Diamondbacks will receive an All-Star Gnome. Get to Mets.com for tickets. Driver on the Majors presented by Cadillac. David Price has been out with a triceps injury. He's going to come back to pitch for the Rays on Tuesday. That's good news for them. They're just 3 games over 500. Max Scherzer tries to go to 12-0 tonight as he takes on the Rays for the Tigers, and a twilight night doubleheader, old-fashioned style. The Indians lead the opener over the White Sox 10-5 in the 4th. They may run out of bullpen early today in that doubleheader. Matt Harvey making his way in from the bullpen, getting ready for his 17th start of the year, and now looking for his 3rd straight win.
It's one of the greatest things in baseball. Matt Harvey was asked about starting. He said, can't wait to start under the lights Friday night against Washington. This is the most pumped up you'll be when you're a starting pitcher.
Last time he faced the Nats on a Friday night at Citi Field, he bested Steven Strasburg. Harvey against the Nats. First pitch coming right up. He's only 26 starts into his major league career, but right now he's the best pitcher in baseball, and Matt Harvey will face the Nationals tonight. Pitching on regular rest. Remember, he only threw 72 pitches Sunday against the Phillies because of a rain delay that followed his 6 innings of work. Hyundai's starting lineup for the Nationals, who are still without Bryce Harper, is not due to return until Monday. Nationals continue to have trouble scoring runs. They're second to last in the National League in runs scored, despite what looks like a very potent lineup. But Harvey has tamed them once already this year.
Just the Jaguar numbers are through the roof. 7-1, 2.05. Look at the hits, the innings pitched. Crazy. 6-to-1 ratio almost for strikeouts to walks. Can go on and on.
And the Lexus Metzi defense and David Wright back in the lineup as he missed the game yesterday. Got a good day for David to get a day off. And of course the Mets won that ball game. Satin at first, playing against the left-handers again. Lagares, who I like, out in center field. And of course the new entry that has really sparked this ball club, Eric Young, out in left.
First Citi Field game for Eric Young. He hasn't even played here as a visitor, so this is big for him, playing close to home. Denard Span leads off for the Nationals, and Harvey's set to go on a Friday night as the Mets open their homestand. And the first pitch of the night by Harvey is a fastball in for a strike at 98 miles an hour. So that establishes a standard for Harvey, who's been throwing harder in June than he had in the earlier months of the season. As the weather has gotten warmer, his velocity has increased, not just with his fastball, but his other pitches as well. As Span fouls it off, and it's 0-2.
Keith, I watched something in Chicago. He went through a workout for an hour, doing almost the equivalent of a basketball suicides out in the outfield with the trainer. It was pretty impressive.
Well, then good. He can go 9.
Very good. He hasn't even gone 1 yet.
Rhythmic clapping starts. We haven't heard that in a long time for a strikeout pitcher in Flushing. And Span takes it just a little maybe high.
Doug Eddings was ready to raise the right arm.
Well, it's right down the middle of the plate. He called it for a high.
Maybe. Right where John Buck wanted it. So Harvey's thrown 3 fastballs to Span. Ahead of the count, 1-2 to the leadoff hitter. And he fouls off the fastball. Still 1-2.
Very interesting. Span already doing something that we haven't seen before, taking his time, stepping out on Harvey, trying to slow that train down.
You never want to let a pitcher dictate when he wants to throw. You have a right to step out.
One, two, and the curveball struck him out. So Harvey takes care of Span for the first down of the night.
Well, went after him hard with fastballs, got him thinking about that pitch, and just completely fools him with that little curveball here.
And that's a hard velocity right there from that pitch. A backdoor on the left-hand hitter. Been noticing that Harvey's been throwing more of that curveball. There's the release.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Anthony Rendon, the 23-year-old who has taken over as the second baseman for the Nats, and he has been hitting, batting .337.
He may not lose the job. Espinoza has been on the DL. He comes back. He's going to have to. Well, he's down. Excuse me.
Curveball in for a strike, and it's 1-1.
But this young man right here, the way he's hitting.
Ryan Zimmerman waits on deck. 1-1 to Rendon. And it's off the slate, a slider. 2-1.
Think about this Washington team. Their lineup when Harper gets back, it's just a team full of #1 picks. That's what it is.
Well, Span was a #1 pick for Minnesota. Rendon a #1 pick 2 years ago by the Nats. And the curveball in for a strike. He's got a good one early in this game. 2-2.
Ronnie, the last two starts for Harvey, he's just seemed to me now to get his breaking ball early in the first inning. But before he might feel for it, he's come out of the chute.
Moves Rendon back, full count. Harvey, the #7 pick in the draft in 2010. Rendon, the #6 pick in the draft in 2011. 3-2. Got him. Slider by Harvey to strike out Rendon. 2 up and 2 down.
Interesting on a 3-2 pitch. Almost like he took a little off that slider to make sure he threw it for a strike. And way ahead of it was Rendon.
A couple overmatches right there early.
So Harvey establishing a beachhead, 2 out and nobody on. And now Ryan Zimmerman. Zimmerman continues to have problems with his surgically repaired shoulder. Took a day off on Tuesday because it was bothering him. It has not really affected his hitting, but the throwing continues to be a big issue.
Zimmerman stands way off the plate, but the way you get him out, because he's a diver, is you have to get him out inside.
dents the outside edge, 1-1.
Well, Zimmerman's a guy that goes the opposite field naturally. He can drive that ball into the gap. You've got to pitch him inside. Adam LaRoche in the on-deck circle. He's just gotten hot.
Zimmerman pops it up. Murphy with the angle. Calling. Side retired. Matt Harvey with a dominating opening inning. A couple of strikeouts and a pop-up. Harvey off to a good start on a Friday night at Citi Field. Mets come to bat with no score. Starting lineup, Eric Young makes his home debut for the Mets after 8 spectacular games on the road trip. John Buck back behind the plate. David Wright back in the lineup. Marlon Byrd playing every day back in the cleanup spot after his go-ahead home run in yesterday's game.
Well, Ross Detwiler is pretty interesting. You see his record. He had a career year last year. His record is not good so far. One of the reasons, in talking to the people for Washington, he's been throwing primarily fastballs, has not been mixing in any other pitches. That's what he wants to do tonight.
And the Coors Light national defense, a team that made very few errors last year, it's made a considerable amount more. That's the 4th most in the National League. Everything went right for this ball club last year, except when they decided to stop Strasburg from pitching.
Eric Young takes the first pitch strike from Detwiler. A very exciting night for Eric. He's got a ton of family and friends on hand. Grew up in Piscataway, New Jersey. Went to Piscataway High. Has been in this ballpark before, but has never played here. And very excited for this game tonight. And he had a big impact on the Mets' 7-4 road trip after joining the team in Atlanta.
Just the energy, speed that he brought to the team, Keith.
You have 13 for 34 as a Met with 4 doubles and 6 RBI, 4 runs scored.
He's hit in 6 straight games. Much better right-hand hitter than left, and the Mets have been facing a ton of left-handed pitching of late, and that will continue. They'll see a right-hander tomorrow, but then Gio Gonzalez, a lefty Sunday, Wade Miley for the Diamondbacks, and Patrick Corbin, the first 2 in that series. So it's going to work in Young's favor. Detwiler got off to a magnificent start this year, but he spent some time on the DL, and he's been awful since he's been back. But he strikes out Young with a fastball for the first out.
He's throwing pretty hard right there, 94. Had an oblique injury, and since coming back, his last 14 2/3 innings, he's given up 14 runs, so it's been a little tough going for him. But he's had success against these Mets.
Yeah. The numbers bear out what you were saying, Ronnie. He throws his fastball this year, and I can't even believe this, 88% of the time. How's that even possible?
Only other person I remember, Jerry Royce in the day would throw a complete game with 85 fastballs, 15 breaking balls.
It was Daniel Murphy. And he takes a strike. Murph had a couple of hits in the game yesterday in Colorado in his last 2 at-bats. He was on base when Marlon Byrd hit the go-ahead home run in the 8th.
And Murph's been struggling a little bit against the lefties, coming into the night hitting .248 against them. And I noticed on the road he's getting more into that Charlie Lau type of swing, Ronnie, with the letting go with one hand, and I think getting a little bit too cautious.
It's almost like when he goes in a slump because he's like feeling for the ball instead of swinging the bat.
Yes.
And do you think that happens more for him against lefties when he's facing a ton of left-hand pitching?
Well, you know, it's a lefty-lefty. That's where you don't, as a left-hander growing up, you mainly face right-handers. That's why it's hard to find left-hand hitters that can hit left-handers. I was fortunate that my father was left-handed. I faced a left-hand pitcher my whole life.
Wow.
1-2 from Detweiler.
See, there's that swing right there that I don't like. It's like he's waving a wand. He gets too defensive here. It's very Charlie Lau. He's out in front, so he's just a little bit off right now because Murph can hit left-handers.
One out and nobody on. David Wright waiting on deck. And Murphy foul tips it. Suzuki holds it. So just like Harvey in the top of the inning, Detweiler has struck out the first 2.
Wow.
Your umpiring crew tonight: Doug Eddings calling the balls and strikes. Dennis DeMuth is the crew chief. He's at first. Angel Hernandez is second, and Paul Nart is the umpire at third. Got the sports classes going.
Yeah. He just would not in the day as an umpire wear glasses because you'd get hooted on by both dugouts.
Thank goodness those days have passed.
In San Diego when the chicken used to bring out the eye chart.
That's right.
You know, Ronnie, I know you commiserate as someone who's worn glasses from the time you were a little kid.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be getting on the near side.
No, you can't. You can't. That's why I went to the. Lenses at 9 years old.
David Wright, after a full day off yesterday, takes it high, and it's 2-0. It was the first game this year that David had sat the entire game. He had one other game he didn't start, but he pinch hit in that game. And he takes one the other way, and David has the first base hit of the game. So refreshed from his day off in the Mile High City, David comes back home with a first inning single.
Well, David here has, in Philadelphia in particular, when he had the big series in Philly, and he's been hitting he's been killing the ball lately, and that's the ball away. He is just on it, and he's going into right field with it, right center field, which is a sign, always a sign when David is in a groove.
So here's Marlon Byrd, who yesterday hit his 6th home run in the month of June, the most he's ever had in a month in the major leagues, which is kind of stunning considering some of the years he had in Texas. It was also the first time in Bird's career he had ever hit a late inning home run that took his team from behind and put him ahead. First time he'd ever done that after the 6th inning.
I found that hard to believe when you have such a long career like he's had.
Well, he has had a rejuvenation this season at age 35 after a lost year last year. Detweiler, for the 2nd straight hitter, falls behind 2-0.
Watch David's left hand, his top hand here. We always talk about his right hand. Excuse me, top hand. David's top hand coming over, and that is just waiting right at the last minute. When you hit a pitch up at the plate, that ball away, that's when you drive that outside pitch. You just don't hit a flare. You hit a bullet.
Josh Satin on deck. 2-0 to Bird. And he fouls away the fastball. 2-1.
So one thing about Marlon is that Marlon's got a very short take back. And sometimes he can look like the pitcher's just making him look bad at the plate. And you know what? You make a mistake and you'll be rubbing up a new one. And he's got a quick bat for 35 years of age.
Lifts this one to right field. Jason Worth in and toward the line. And that retires the side. So Detweiler works around the right hit. Matt Harvey heads back to the mound for the 2nd inning with no score. Matt Harvey pitched a 1-2-3 first inning with a couple of strikeouts. Adam LaRoche will be his first assignment in the second. It's been interesting looking at Harvey's numbers lately, Ronnie, because lately he's been working the bottom of the strike zone more, getting more ground ball outs.
Well, he's one of the few young pitchers I've seen that he seems to get as much delight out of striking out the side as he does having a 6 or 7 pitch inning. That game in Philadelphia when the Mets took a big lead, he went out there and had a 6 or 7 pitch inning. That was crucial.
Adam LaRoche having a good year. 11 home runs, 35 driven in.
He'd had a slow April. He caught fire on May 2nd, hitting .327 since May 2nd. Signed a big contract extension.
Last year won the Silver Slugger and the Gold Glove for National League first baseman. And Harvey drops the curveball in for a strike, 1-1.
He is one of those players that's under the radar screen. You kind of don't notice him. He is a very, very good ball player.
Here's the changeup by Harvey to get ahead on LaRoche. You know, we've said it all along about Ike Davis. If he can be Adam LaRoche, he will have had a terrific career. And that's where the Mets would love to see him.
Well, initially, you thought Ike Davis was going to be better than LaRoche. He'll take that now.
That's possible, too.
Yep.
Harvey already has 2 strikeouts tonight. And he has been the master of the up and in early in this game.
Excellent. Move those batters off. And remember, today's game, not too many guys throw up and in, and the hitters aren't used to it. You saw LaRoche leap out of the way there.
Struck him out with a curveball. 3rd strikeout for Harvey. 4 batters into the game.
All the strikeouts now on breaking pitches from Harvey. Fastball up and in, curveball down and away. Don't forget now, and Harvey's smart about this, he's starting to face teams for the 2nd and 3rd time. They can see the nice breaking ball in that super slow-mo, how it comes out of his hand and starts that rotation. So he's starting to let them know there might be a little change the 2nd or 3rd time around.
He faced the Nats last September, lost a 2-0 decision. Faced him back here in April when he faced off with Strasburg and had a great night, allowed just 1 run and 4 hits in 7 innings and a 7-1 win. Jason Worth takes a strike.
Just look at him throwing, and you just see in just this one season the confidence building. There's no extra effort on his throw, Ronnie, on his throws. Even when he humps up and gets something extra on the fastball, he doesn't rush his motion.
There's no Boris Becker grunting and groaning either. Just nice and free and easy.
He has become an ace in very short order. Curveball for a strike, and there's only one other pitcher that I can remember, and Doc Gooden aside, because he was different, he was younger, he was more of a phenomenon. The only other guy I ever remember making the leap from rookie pitcher to ace like that was Seaver. And he reminds me so much of Tom because he can throw anything at any time. He's got that fire in his eye the same way. Strikes out Worth. 4 strikeouts for Harvey. And he's retired the first 5. And he is on his game early.
No, all these hitters right down the pipe, wasn't even inside.
Got the perfect body for a pitcher. You know, if you're 6'6" or taller, you have a lot more moving parts. He's 6'4", he's thick, he's compact, and his mechanics are also.
I tell you what, that catcher's glove, that's going to break in real quick.
2 out and nobody on. Here's Ian Desmond, who's been red hot. And he loops one into shallow left, and there's Eric Young. Side retired. 6 up, 6 down for Harvey with 4 strikeouts in the first 2 innings. Mets come up in the bottom of the 2nd with no score. Off for New York against Ross Detweiler. Detweiler trying to get his season back on track as a little light rain begins to fall, and this was certainly part of the forecast, and really it's part of the forecast every day in the Mets 2013 season. And every day it seems a little rain must fall.
There you go. It's been great for my garden. Not good for work, though.
Satin making his 6th start, and he takes up an away ball 1. Did you have a good couple of weeks there, Keith, when we didn't get to cross paths at all?
Now, just so the folks understand this, I have nothing to do with my scheduling. I had 2 weeks off, and I took full advantage of it. I did enjoy the broadcasts. I watched around, I'd say, 70% of the games, and very up to speed on what the Mets were doing.
So how do you feel about Josh Satin?
I think Josh has done a great job. He's been in the middle of things. He's scored runs. He's driven in a few. And I think he's one of the guys, he's youth here, that has kind of injected a little spirit into this team. A little lilt in their step, playing on their toes.
Showing a good knowledge of the strike zone. He's 3-0 here against Detweiler, and he takes a strike. Satin at 273, but a 429 on base percentage because of the walks that he's drawn. John Buck on deck, then Juan Magaris against Detweiler. 8.59 ERA over his 3 starts since coming back from the disabled list. And he comes inside, finds the corner, 3-2. Detweiler, first round pick back in 07 out of Missouri State, the same school that produced Ryan Howard.
Okay.
Used to be Southwest Missouri State back in the day.
Now, if you're a local, is Missouri or Missouri?
Well, it depends which half of the state.
And show me.
Two-handed grab by Tuffle. Always use 2 hands, kids.
Yes. You know what I'm finding out in more this year than a lot of these major league players now, the young ones? They're born in '86.
Oh, yeah, right.
Well, Zach Wheeler now is the first Met born in the 90s.
Jeez. I was 30 when I was in '86. Oh, wait a minute. Excuse me. I was 33.
Zach ready for his first home start on Sunday. Satin draws a leadoff walk against Detweiler, who walks very few. Vote Brandon Nimmo for the All-Star Futures game to be played on Sunday, July 14th at Citi Field. Vote now through this Sunday at 11:59 p.m. But don't wait. Vote at Mets at the MLB.com/futures finalists. Well, Zach Wheeler, 2 road starts under his belt. And getting ready for his first home start Sunday.
Do they have like a hair policy in the minor league so you can't grow a beard? So when you come up here, you can let it go.
Like that.
John Buck.
Buck really fighting it right now. 1 for his last 22. Anthony Record caught yesterday. Buck's last game in Chicago on Wednesday night, he took the dreaded golden sombrero. Sorry, Keith.
Oh.
Juan Magaris on deck. Satin at first and nobody out. Detweiler's given up only 2 steals this year in 11 starts. But the Mets have been much more active on the base paths recently, with a little more speed in the lineup. They've played a little bit more aggressively.
Tuffle's been more aggressive at third base as the coach, and I think they're doing a great job going first to third, and that's part of running the bases correctly too.
Breaking ball hit to right field, and Worth comes over toward the line. 1 away. Back to first goes Satin. So 1 out and 1 on. Now Juan Magaris. Magaris playing every day in center field these days. He's already established himself as a plus defender, now trying to gain a foothold at the plate.
I think this might be a good matchup for Lagares because Detweiler throws a lot of strikes. Not a lot of pitches out of the strike zone or in the dirt.
Now he's got his average up to 229. It's been a long climb for him. Very difficult for a young player to come up and not play. And I think now that he's getting a chance to play, this kid he's not going to hurt you in the field. He's going to help you in the field. See what he can do.
Well, his early at bats, he was so anxious at the plate, just going up there swinging at whatever he saw. He's become a little bit more disciplined as he's gotten more at bats. One out and 1 on. And Lagares loops one down the right field line. Back goes Worth, and he runs it down. lot of traffic for Worth in right field in these first 2 innings. 2 out. Now during every Mets game you can get interactive with SNY Game Day on SNY.TV, featuring pitch-by-pitch coverage, player cards, and in-depth stats. Check out SNY Game Day during every Mets game, now on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports.
As I was about to say, Jason Worth makes it look easy out there. He's some kind of right fielder. But I didn't dare want to interrupt Gary.
And he plays shallow, too.
Yes, he does.
Third year of that big 7-year contract. He's 34 years old now. And has settled in nicely, I think.
I think it was Davey Johnson's genius to lead him off for that one time a bit. He had all the pressure on him with the big contract a couple years ago.
Omar Quintanilla.
There's Davey. Shaven.
Manager of the year in the National League last year. Now in what he says will be his final season as skipper. And there's a lot on the line for the Nationals, and especially for Davey. They've made a big investment in this team. They certainly were expected by most to be not only a contender, but a World Series participant. They won 98 games last year, and they're kind of piddling along at 500.
17 times they come into this series at 500. 17 times this season they've been at 500. That's the major league high. But I just have a sneaking suspicion, Ronnie, Gary, that this team's going to get hot at some point, and that's going to be trouble.
You would think so. I mean, the talent they have, it'll probably be different when Harper comes back within the week.
Check swing and foul ball. Well, they've been pitching well all year. Their offense has clearly been the problem, and as poorly as they've played, second to last in the league in runs scored, they're still only 5.5 games out.
How about these standings? This is beautiful.
That is a very
classic.
I like it. New graphic. Like they ripped it right out of the newspaper. It's a lovely effect. It's a rare breaking ball from Detweiler. 2-2 to Quintanilla. The very dangerous Matt Harvey waiting on deck. He hit 3 bullets in his last start in Philadelphia.
He's got to pitch Harvey away. He likes that ball middle in.
Strike 3 call. Quintanilla thought it was wide. Doug Eddings punches him out. Third strikeout for Detweiler. No score after 2.
Vice President of Media Relations, Jay Horowitz. On-air personalities, Ed Coleman. And Gary Cohn, I can't wait. And team photographer Mark Levin. Oh, my goodness. Don't miss this, folks. Through their typical day, outstanding, on Mets Insider Presents by W.B. Mason, Sunday at 6, only on SNY. I'm not coming to the game. I'm going to watch it.
That would be Levine.
Oh, excuse me.
Mark Levine.
Sorry.
Eddie gets top billing over me? Wait a second. I know he's older, but come on. Roger Bernardina hits one to Murphy's backhand. 1 pitch and 1 out for Matt Harvey in the third. That was very nicely done there.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm full of energy. I've been recharging my batteries.
You, unlike just about everybody else participating tonight.
And yeah, I understand you guys had a trip from Diablo.
I mean, it was the last 48 hours have been kind of crazy anyway, right? We were in Chicago, late night arrival in Denver. We were expecting that. Late afternoon game in Denver. Get on the bus, head to the airport, get on the tarmac, and the plane's not there. What happened? The plane had to make an emergency landing on its way to pick us up. They had to get a new plane to fly in.
Lost an engine.
My goodness.
Fortunately, we were not on it at the time.
When did you finally land? And
landed about 4 o'clock this morning.
Got home at
about 6.
Oh, might as well just stay up.
No, I didn't stay up. That's Ronnie's deal. I don't do that.
I guarantee it's a 3 for 4 the next day of that ball game.
Yeah, but what about the day after? Kurt Suzuki takes the curveball off the plate, 1-1.
I remember
the Mets all came home together except for the 2 pitchers, Harvey and G. Harvey was pitching tonight and G was pitching tomorrow, and that was good thinking. Poked the other way in a foul ball.
And as an everyday player, excuse me, Ron, you're never jealous of the pitchers. The only time you're jealous of starting pitchers is spring training when they're golfers. They're once every 5th day. They can go and play golf, and we're out there sweating. But season, a game like that, you send your starters home that have to pitch the next day, no question.
Harvey ahead 1-2. He's already struck out 4. Up and in 99 as Suzuki stopped the swing. Well, you know, they tried to send Hefner from Chicago to Denver early, but his flight got delayed, so he ended up flying with the team anyway, and he pitched wonderfully yesterday.
He sure did. It's actually the best I've seen him pitch.
2-2. And he just got a piece of that. You know, there have been a lot of positive surprises for this team this year. Jeremy Hefner ranks right up among the top of them. I know the 1-loss record isn't great, but he has really outperformed expectations.
They could just catch it a little better when he's on the mound. All those unearned runs.
A little sharper breaking ball, pitching upstairs with a fastball. I like it.
Well, it's been a theme for the Mets lately. Here's the 2-2 from Harvey, and Suzuki lifts one to right. Bird near the sidewall, and he could not quite get it. Now, he's made some nice plays against that sidewall this year, but this one he couldn't quite get there.
I think maybe down the line there might have been a little interference with Marlin.
Good effort.
Was it the railing or was it the garbage bag?
I think it was a combination. It's really raining now.
Yeah, it's raining a little bit. It's coming from the southwest. Gary, just so you know, I know you're aware of it.
Thank you, Keith.
Talking about playing a little sleep. I don't know if, Keith, you remember this. When you were at the Dag Hammarskjöld building at the 33D Club, you had a little get-together, and the next day you went 5 for 5 against the Atlanta Braves here.
With around Shea. With maybe 3.5 hours rest. That was outstanding.
8th pitch of the at-bat from Harvey to Suzuki, and he lines one to left. Young got a late start back, but he makes the catch. Good recovery by Eric Young on a ball hit over his head. That's the 2nd out of the inning. That's the hardest hit ball so far against Matt Harvey.
Well, Ronnie hit the nail on the head at last inning with Harvey. Now he's been around the league. Guys know what he's all about. They can look on the computer all they want. There's no substitute for getting in that batter's box and facing that pitcher in real time. And you realize as a hitter, you're going to have to attack Harvey early in the count. You get 0-2 on Harvey, you are looking for a major 0 for 4.
Ross Detweiler, not a threatening presence in the box. 6 for 109 in his career. And, you know, when you pitch in the National League, you have the advantage of facing the opposing pitcher, and Harvey has taken full advantage of that. Opposing pitchers have had one hit against him this year. That was Strasburg, hit a double against him. They're 1 for 27. Detweiler this year 1 for 19 with 15 strikeouts.
And he got walked once. That's a fine.
1-2. Just missed, I guess. Doug Eddings used to have a reputation as a pitcher's umpire. Not really that anymore.
He shortened it up a little bit. Tighter strike zone now by Doug.
2-2 to Detweiler, and that's off the plate. Well, Keith, he does have that one walk.
Ronnie, you relay the message to him if he walks him.
I will. I'll inform him of the fine. Look at Harvey shaking his head. He's a perfectionist.
Here comes a right down Broadway.
That had rain shorten his start in Philadelphia last time out. Had to come out of the game after 6 innings and 72 pitches after a 20-minute rain delay. And pitching in the rain right now. 3-2. Detweiler able to extend the at bat and make Harvey work a little harder. He's getting a little perturbed about it.
Well, Harvey's probably angry at himself that he got in this position with he had him ahead in the count and didn't put him away.
Detweiler keeps fighting. So I had a tweet of the game. This is from Bryce Harper, who's down on rehab. The electric fastball from Harvey. It looks so easy. 95 to 100.
He's trying to set him up so Harvey will throw him a fastball next time he faces him.
Exactly right.
I don't get it. The tweeting.
9th pitch of the at bat to the opposing pitcher, and he finally, well, no, that's got a piece of it. So Detweiler proves to be far more difficult to dispose of than you would have expected. Probably the longest at bat he's ever had.
Both Suzuki now and Detweiler have pushed the pitch count up.
10th pitch to Detweiler, and he finally gets it with a high fastball. 5th strikeout for Harvey, first time through the batting order, and he is perfect through 3. No score at Citi Field. VIP day at Citi Field. Earlier this month, Daniel Murphy called Richard Bedard, who just graduated from the Viscardi School for students with physical disabilities on Long Island, and invited him onto the field at a Mets game. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning in the rain at Citi Field. Matt Harvey's retired the first 9 to face him, and now will get his first turn at bat. His last start in Philadelphia, Harvey had 3 at-bats, a line out to short, a double off the fence in right center, and then a bullet back at Joe Savory knocked the pitcher's glove off.
Yeah, he undressed him.
So even though Matt is only 5 for 36 this year, he's starting to find the range with the bat. Looks like it's only going to be a brief shower. Sky's clear on the horizon as Ross Detweiler throws in his warm-up pitches, getting ready for the bottom of the 3rd. Well, we talked about it at the opening today. Leading in strikeouts, leading in ERA, leading in opponent's batting average, and the list goes on and on. He has simply been the best pitcher in baseball so far this year.
And hard to believe this at 7-1. Unlucky too.
Right.
Probably should be 11-12-1.
He had a string of no decisions that he pitched outstanding.
One pitcher in the majors has a lower ERA. That's Clay Buchholz, but he's been on the disabled list. So Harvey has taken his game to a completely different level, and he has sustained it so far tonight. Harvey, then Eric Young and Daniel Murphy for the Mets in the home 3rd inning. And that takes a strike.
All the way to the 3rd base part of that rubber is Detweiler.
You see that a lot more at today's pitchers, pitching on the extreme edge of the rubber there on the 3rd base side.
Ground ball for Rendon to handle, and he throws out Harvey. What's the advantage of pitching from that far over on one side or the other?
Well, the hard part, Gary, is you want it to be a little bit of a hole, and then you don't want a really big hole in front of that rubber. So Harvey's on the other side. So with Detweiler on that other side, he kind of owns that part of the rubber. He's going to have it exactly like he wants the entire game. He'll probably, too, land in a different spot than Harvey, so you won't have that big hole where you land. Both guys landing in the same spot poses trouble, like in the 6th or 7th inning.
Did you ever have an issue, Ronnie, with the opposing pitcher's plant foot was not where you wanted yours?
Yeah, you definitely do, especially with like a guy like Sutcliffe, who's got size 16 or 17 feet or whatever. They get a real big hole, and you don't ever want to be coming into that hole with your foot at the beginning of it, because your foot will slide.
Almost like you're pitching from a slope.
Yep.
When you're starting out.
Any mound that what was the mound that you hated the worst?
Hated? I'd have to say Wrigley. Wrigley always felt the lowest of all the mounds.
Dodger Stadium.
The highest.
And Astrodome?
He says that.
Astrodome was great. High. Very high.
2-0 to Eric Young, taking all the way a strike. Young struck out his first time up.
But you always love your home mound. Big Shea with Pete Flynn working on it. It was always perfect.
Daniel Murphy on deck. And Young pops one in foul ground. LaRoche hoping for a play. That's back in the seats.
I remember the mound in the Astrodome, Gary, Ron, that it was behind the rubber on the outfield side. It went off like a cliff.
Went straight down.
Like a cliff.
Yeah.
That was the only mound I ever saw like that.
You had to be careful if you caught one of those high bouncing balls that went right over your head. You had to be careful going down that slope.
Went a pair of skis.
Downhill racer.
Robert Redford. 2-2. Ground ball toward the hole as Desmond on the backhand, and he throws out Young with ease. 2 out.
And I don't know if the Met fans realize this or remember Ian Desmond, when he came up, had real erratic throwing arm. Look at the backhand, no wasted motion. He knew he was a fast runner, and Young and his throwing woes are over now. He's really, I tell you what, he's one of the best players in the National League. I really like him.
He's got 59 straight games without an error, which would have been inconceivable a couple of years ago. So here's Murphy with 2 out and nobody on. Daniel struck out his first time up.
I think a lot of that has to do with having LaRoche over there. He's quite a glove.
It doesn't hurt to have Davey as manager, too. Davey could pick it in his day.
Well, there's Daniel's career numbers. Splits, I should say.
About what you'd expect.
Yeah.
Curveball from Detweiler, and he was judged to have gone around 1-2.
Home plate umpire Eddings called that. Big rain. You don't have to call it City Field anymore. It's going to be City Lake every day.
It's on Flushing Bay.
That was a great shot at Detweiler. It looks like a big giant sequoia up there. Jeez.
Well, he's very tall, very thin. And the one thing that is deceiving about his motion, you see the kids with the bags, is that he throws extremely across his body. So that's the way he hides the baseball.
He used to be even more pronounced throwing across his body.
And you can tell, how do you tell if a guy throws across his body? If you see the whole number. See 48? If you only see one number, the 8, then he doesn't really throw across his body as much. Saw both numbers there.
Murphy cracks the grounder to short, and Desmond steadies and throws him out. 3 ground ball outs in the inning for Detweiler. And we sail along to the 4th in the rain at Citi Field. Mets and Nats, no score. Brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Kevin?
Denard Span leads it off for the Nationals, Gary. I talked to a bunch of the Nats who faced Harvey in that last start here in April, just to get a gauge of what they saw against Harvey, what an at-bat is like. And Span said, you know, you really just have to hope his off-speed stuff is off. That's the bottom line, because it's so good. Said it does remind me a little bit about Verlander. This is a guy that played for Minnesota, so Verlander a lot. And again, his fastball is terrific, don't get me wrong, but that off-speed stuff is all so good. If that's on, it makes it very, very difficult. You can't sit on anything facing him. And granted, it was only 4 at-bats that I faced him so far, but you know, for me, I'm always going to look fastball. Here he tries the bunt. Harvey off the mound quick. That's the end of that. And Span is retired, 1 down. But he said, I'm always going to look fastball unless I'm feeling extraordinary at the plate. Maybe I'll let one by and look for something else. But that's how I'm going to approach him tonight.
Well, I said this about Harvey. He feels like he's the best athlete on the field. That's how he feels when he's out there. And that made a difficult play, not a difficult play, but he made it look very easy.
So 1 out and nobody on. Anthony Rendon struck out his first time up, one of 5 strikeouts for Harvey so far.
Well, Harvey did it perfectly here. You want to step as close as you can to the ball, bare-hand it, just look it into your hand, and once you do, crow hop it and fire a strike.
Well, anytime you face a pitcher that's a quality pitcher.
Line to right. Bird coming on. Diving to make the catch. The closest thing to a hit so far for the Nationals, and Marlon Byrd robs Anthony Rendon 2 out.
Well, Marlon continues to shine both offensively and defensively here, making a nice play. Played shallow. Rendon only 1 home run in his first. This is his 28th game in the big leagues this year. Marlon makes the nice play.
If you're a defensive player behind Harvey, you got a feel of taking chances on plays.
Well, this is a pitcher who 3 times already this year has carried a no-hit bid into the 7th inning. Any given day might be the day. Ryan Zimmerman popped up to second base his first time up.
See what? As I was going to say, Garrett, your top quality pitchers, the ones in the upper echelon, what makes them great? They got extraordinary secondary pitches. So why you want to hit their fastball? Get out of the box. You don't want a 7-pitch at bat to a pitcher that's got all that good stuff.
So Zimmerman trying to take his time now, slow Harvey down.
Zimmerman hit a home run against Harvey last year, the first time the Mets faced the Nationals. Helped the Nats to a 2-0 win that day back in September.
Sorry, Gary. Buck's head was turned there, talking to Doug Eddings about that last pitch.
2 balls and a strike to Zimmerman, and there's the nasty slider. 2-2.
Well, he makes Zimmerman look bad here. The good ones can do it to you.
2-2. This is high. Full count.
Guys, you want to talk about energy within the team? But Troy Hawkins told me today, next year, if I decide not to pitch, I will come to the park to watch Harvey pitch. Bet on that.
His 4th full count. With 2 out and nobody on. And Zimmerman takes strike 3 call. Throwing a 3-2 changeup. 6th strikeout for Harvey. 12 up and 12 down to start Matt's night. See that changeup grip. It works. Radio 66 and Sports Radio 101.9 FM WFAN. Day games Saturday and Sunday. Zach Wheeler pitches Sunday, his Citi Field debut. Then the Diamondbacks come in for 4 games starting Monday night. And the Mets' last road trip before the All-Star break takes them to Milwaukee, San Francisco, and Pittsburgh. Your City probables for the weekend. Taylor Jordan makes his major league debut for the Nats against Dylan G tomorrow. And Gio Gonzalez and Zach Wheeler Sunday. David Wright leads off the home 4th inning and takes off the plate from Ross Detweiler. Wright has the only hit for either side. He singled to right field in the opening inning. Now 7 for 16 against Detweiler. And had a good rip at that fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Marlon Byrd on deck, then Josh Satin as the Mets try and give Matt Harvey a run in the bottom of the 4th. Byrd has already contributed to Harvey's cause by making a diving catch in right field to keep the Nats from having a base runner. 2-1 to Wright, and David rips one off the glove of Zimmerman and down the line. Chased by Bernardina, and Wright will cruise into second base with a leadoff double. What a difference a day off makes. David is 2 for 2. His 16th double of the year.
Continues his red hot streak. Change up, got it inside instead of away. Just out of the reach. I don't know why Zimmerman wouldn't be playing deeper there. David Wright is not going to be one to put a drag bunt down.
Well, the other thing is, after watching in Philadelphia, where we saw the third baseman playing on the line the whole series, there you got a lefty on the mound and Zimmerman playing well off the line.
Atlanta, Chris Johnson.
Right. Where Chris Johnson was playing, that's an easy play. So the Mets with an opportunity. Right at second and nobody out. And Marlon Byrd hits a grounder right at the shortstop. Desmond has to knock it down, but still has time. One hop throw can't be handled. Hits the runner. Wright goes to third. He's being waved home. Wright will score. Byrd goes to second, and the Mets have a 1-0 lead. Ian Desmond had not made an error in 59 games, but he couldn't handle the ground ball cleanly, and then LaRoche could not handle his throw at first base, and the Mets get a run out of it.
Well, a lot of this is all about Marlins hustling down the line here. This was a bullet that Desmond does everything right. The ball came up, he blocks it with his body, but Byrd hustling. There's the bad hop. Had to rush the throw, and the Mets catch a break here. That should have been a pick by LaRoche. Wright has to get back to the bag, but stays in the hunt, watches the ball. So good for all the way around for the Mets here.
It's an error all the way on Desmond, which snaps his 59-game errorless streak. But I agree with you, Keith. That's a play that LaRoche makes 99 times out of 100.
Well, what's interesting about that is that Byrd made like Chicharito down the line. That ball was on his thigh, his foot, and he kept kicking it out into right field.
It's not a bad thing, unless they say he did it on purpose. So the Mets have a run in, a runner in scoring position for Satin, and there's a good changeup by Detweiler. 1-1.
I tell you what, the way Harvey looked. It's a long hop. That's an easy pick. Those are the easiest picks, that and the very short hop. And he just missed it. He'll make that play 99 out of 100 times.
He's a Gold Glove first baseman. I don't think I've ever seen him miss one like that. Well, the Mets take advantage of it. And because Byrd kicked it, it rolled into no man's land so far that Wright, who had gone back to second base, was able to score.
Yeah. David kept his head in the game. And that gave him the ability to score. And there's the ball off Byrd.
Where your cup, kids. It was strike 2 and 2.
The way Harvey's pitching, I hate to say it so early, one may be enough.
Don't settle.
I agree. Get greedy.
Well, take those at bats you need. Get them over at least here.
Satin drew a walk his first time up. Detweiler is not a big strikeout pitcher. He struck out 3 in the first 2 innings, but he's averaging just 4.8 strikeouts per 9 innings this year.
The thing about Josh Satin is, unlike a lot of the players with the grooved kind of swing, there's John Buck on deck. He's kind of a hand-eye coordination guy at the plate. An old-time swing.
Takes one the other way toward the right field line. Long one for Worth. He won't get there. Bird have to go back to tag up. He'll only go to third, but it's a double for Josh Satin, and the Mets have runners at second and third. Second extra base hit of the season for Satin.
Well, a late read by Marlin here. This ball is going to be slicing away. Nice idea at the plate with Satin, with the intent of going the other way to advance the runner at the minimum. And just a late read by Marlin there. I understand that he wants to tag up and get to third base. You got a guy out in right field that can go get him. But just a late read. Should have scored in that ball.
I think sometimes the reputation of a fielder keeps you from taking advantage.
The run is in, second and third, and nobody on. A big chance for Buck. Now, David Johnson has the infield back here, which is standard operating procedure, except he's facing Matt Harvey, and he's already down a run. Would you be inclined to bring the infield in that kind of a situation?
It's a pretty good hitting pitcher. Everybody's basically got the corners in, Davey. Don't you think, Ron?
Well, he's got the corners in. I think the thing about having Buck up is that Detweiler's had a problem all season long with the big inning. So I think that's what he's trying to limit. The pitcher on the mound is dictating how he's going to play his infield.
So he's willing to go up 2, but no more. And Detweiler trying to keep it inside. Buck, if nothing else, would like to hit it to the right side, get the run in, and get Satin over to third. We'll see. Buck has done a very good job this year in limited chances with a runner at third and less than 2 out. Juan Lagares on deck.
You don't want the big inning here. 3 runs in, it's going to be a mighty task.
And again, Detweiler runs it in. 2-1. Well, it has been a slog for John Buck after a miraculous month of April. Right now, he's in a 1 for 23 skid. And he tries to hold the swing. It's on the corner anyway, and it's 2-2.
No, he swung too.
But it only counts as 1 strike.
It's probably good that he didn't swing the ball on that pitch, because he wasn't going to hit that anywhere but on the ground.
Well, Buck's got to put it in play here. He's been striking out a lot lately. Second and third and nobody out. The infield playing back. And he goes down on the pitch in the dirt. Suzuki checks the runner and completes the putout. A disappointing at bat for Buck. The 4th strikeout for Detweiler. And Buck's woes continue.
Just a breaking pitch. Bounces right before the plate. So nice play by Suzuki to get that high on his chest protector and keep it in front of him.
So now Lagares. They're going to walk him intentionally and pitch to left-hand batter Quintanilla with the bases loaded. So Lagares, a 229 hitter, getting some respect here. As we said, Detweiler, despite the fact that he's now struck out 4, is not a strikeout pitcher. And for Lagares, this is going to break a long walkless streak. He's gone over 100 at bats without a walk.
Well, this is the play there, because you're going to load the bases. Detweiler throws strikes. He doesn't walk a lot of people. And you've got the lefty with Quintanilla up, and then the pitcher Harvey next.
It's a managerial move here that you can't second guess if he pitches to him or he does walk him. You know, you can understand both sides of the coin here.
But you got to have a pitcher who does not walk people too.
Right. And Detweiler, who's walked 2 now tonight, including the intentional walk, just 1.6 walks per 9 innings this year.
And Quintanilla is going to be a tough guy to double up.
So a big spot in this game. The Mets have taken a 1-0 lead at the bottom of the fourth. Matt Harvey sitting in the dugout, hasn't allowed a base runner yet. And now the Mets with a chance to increase their lead. Quintanilla went down looking his first time up. One of 4 strikeouts for Detweiler. And Quintanilla, who's had a lot of hot and cold spells in his month as a starter, is 0 for his last 14. He had an 0 for 22. He got hot again. Now he's cooled down a little the last 4 or 5 days. He's been playing every day, inning after inning.
Most of the pitches he's going to face from Detweiler, 80% will be middle of the plate away. So he should be trying to shoot it that way if he can.
Bird, Satin, and Lagares, the base runners. Bases loaded, 1 out. Up and in to Quintanilla, ball 1. Matt Harvey on deck. Two doubles, an error, and a walk in this inning. Little flare to the shortstop, and that is the second out. They did call the infield fly rule, even though that ball was not hit high in the air. So now 2 out, it's left to Matt Harvey. So the Mets so far have made the least out of the most in this inning. Harvey trying to change that. He grounded out to the second baseman his first time up.
Credit Detweiler there. I said that he was going to pitch Quintanilla mostly away. He did not. Just the opposite. Pitched him in. Nice pitching.
Harvey with 2 runs batted in for the year. Bases loaded, 2 down. And Matt watches outside, ball 1.
Big double in Philadelphia. Where was it? It was to right center. You know, see where Worth's playing right here, Keith? Too shallow.
Agreed.
He's playing like a normal pitcher, and Matt is not a normal hitting pitcher. 1-1.
Tell you what, if Detweiler pitches his way out of this jam, he's done a heck of a job. Talk about stopping the bleeding.
That's had a run in, second and third, and nobody out. He struck out Buck, and after the intentional walk, got the little flare by Quintanilla. Two and 1 to Harvey. Better than your average bear. Or Tar Heel. 2-2.
Harvey's stance puts him in such a way that the ball away is going to give him trouble. He's off the plate a good couple of feet, so he's not going to reach that ball when it's perfectly placed on the outside part.
And you can see how his body kind of wants to lean towards the third base dugout. So he's definitely a middle in hitter, which means he's going to hit some home runs.
Bases loaded, 2 out, 2-2 to Harvey. And Matt bounces it right back to Detweiler. And so Detweiler, with a run against his record, able to work out of a huge jam after that. Mets at second and third and nobody out. And they do not score further. They do get one, though. David Wright with a double off Ryan Zimmerman's glove. And Ian Desmond's throwing error brings him around. And the Mets hand Harvey a run as we go to the 5th at Citi Field. A no-hit bid into the 7th. The first one came in frigid conditions in Minnesota. Justin Morneau broke that up with a home run. Then here at Citi Field, Alex Rios with a grounder in the hole and just barely beating the plate at first for an infield hit, and an even more dinky infield hit broke up his no-hit bid in Atlanta. That on play.
You know, the only way really when you have an inexperienced first baseman like Lucas out there is you got to kind of pick that up with your glove and go for the tag of the runner. But I mean, extremely difficult play.
That game in Atlanta, he wound up striking out 13 batters, a career high. Followed it up with the 2-hit, no-run, 6-inning performance in Philly, and now 4 perfect innings today. Adam LaRoche takes a fastball for a strike. Is that a little two-seamer by Harvey?
Yeah, he's thrown a couple of two-seamers already. Left-handers, he's starting them with that a runner away.
LaRoche struck out his first time. Slider at his feet, and it's 1-1. It'll be LaRoche, then Jason Worth, and Ian Desmond for the Nationals in the 5th.
Good cut.
Well, he's only made 26 starts in his major league career, and already 3 times Matt Harvey has carried a no-hitter through 6. The only guy to do it more in Mets history, Tom Seaver, did it 5 times. I mean, that's stunning. Where Seaver took 3 of them into the 9th. Here's the 1-2. Bounces in the dirt. 2-2.
Oh, LaRoche had the one pitch to hit right there, Gary. That second strike that he fell back. Fastball down the way. Good spot for Harvey, but a pitch for LaRoche to handle, and he fouled it back, and maybe the only one he sees.
Two. Fly ball, right field. Easy for Marlon Byrd. Barely has to move. Only the raindrops to confuse him. 1 away. 13 up and 13 down for Matt Harvey. Jason Worth coming up. Let's check in with Kevin.
I asked Chad Tracy, who started against Matt Harvey the last time they faced each other in April here at Citi Field, for a comparison. He didn't really have one. He said, you know, thought about it for a moment and said, I don't know that I've seen this kind of stuff from another young guy before. Pretty high praise from a veteran who's been around a long time. I said, how do you approach him? He said, well, you obviously have to look for the hard stuff, but for me, he really has to make mistakes and for it to be over the middle. He's so tough. If he's on the corners, and that changeup that we saw the last time, he thought was pretty darn tough to hit.
Guys. Jason Worth takes a crackling fastball for a strike. Ian Desmond on deck. Harvey has struck out 6. Retired the first 13 Nationals.
It's interesting to me that from game to game in Atlanta, he had an unbelievable slider. In this game, he's had an unbelievable curveball.
Well, this is a Washington team that is 14th in runs scored in the National League. Mets are ranked 12th.
Grounded, just foul. With Wright playing way off the line against the right-hand batter. There's your Verizon and Fios average fastball velocity. Not only does Harvey have the highest fastball velocity this year, he has the highest slider velocity and the highest curveball velocity in Major League Baseball. Hard. 1-2 to Worth. He struck him out. 7 strikeouts for Matt Harvey. 2 out of the 5th.
It's that hard slider we saw him throw and use early and often against the Philadelphia Phillies. Extremely difficult against a right-handed hitter, and you can see the release. Almost thrown like you would throw a football. That stiff wrist, and you don't really turn that ball over.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Ian Desmond, who flied to left his first time up. And he takes a half swing at the curveball. 0-1.
And that's what I think Harvey's going to find out too, Gary. Ron, with that big, hard, sharp curveball, he can throw it in the dirt. It's a tough pitch for hitters to lay off.
High fly ball, deep left field. Young goes back, looks up at the wall, and it's out of here.
Wow.
Ian Desmond, who's been in a home run hitting tear, hits his 14th of the year to break up the no-hit bid and tie up the ball game.
Well, it's an interesting choice of pitches here for Buck and Matt Harvey. They decided to go with the breaking ball inside, the one thrown right at his hip that's supposed to break over the inside corner. It broke down the middle. See, sitting inside, that breaking ball, middle of the plate in.
I don't like that breaking ball. It's too many. You make a mistake. It's too easy to make a mistake over the middle. Desmond goes down and gets it. That's his 14th home run of the year. That leads this National Ball Club in home runs.
Well, 10 of Desmond's home runs have given the Nationals the lead this year. This one ties up the game. And for Matt Harvey, he had gone 177 at bat since he gave up a home run to Joey Votto on May the 22nd. Only the 5th home run he's allowed this season.
Well, see, my point about the breaking ball in, Ron, is that when you throw as hard as Harvey, and if you're establishing inside, and there's right there sitting on a tee for Desmond, you still got to hit it. But if you're throwing so hard and pitching inside, then that breaking ball away is your equalizer.
Yeah, that speeds your bat up right there.
Yep.
Bernardino grounded out to Murphy his first time. And the fastball away, 2-1.
I guess Desmond made up for the error.
That's right. Redeemer.
Well, now the Mets not adding to that 1-0 lead in the last half inning looms large. There's a curveball. Did he swing? And he said they stopped it in time. Paul Nart the call.
That is that curve. And you can see the reaction of the hitters. They're doing all they can to check their swings. And that just means that's just a vicious curve.
3-1. Fly ball, shallow right center. Who's going to get it? Lagares streaking in and gets there easily. Side retired. Well, Matt Harvey retired the first 14 hitters tonight, but that all disappears when Ian Desmond, who's been red hot, slams one out at Citi Field. 14th home run for Desmond, ties the game at 1 halfway through. Here's your Modell's 5th inning recap. Matt Harvey was perfect through 4 2/30, and Desmond spoiled that. Mets got an unearned run in the 4th, but left a lot of food on the table in that 4th inning. Now they'll have to go back to work against Detweiler as the light rain that's been falling since early in the ball game continues to come down. Detweiler did a great job limiting the damage in that 4th inning. 2 doubles, an error, and an intentional walk added up to just 1 run. Eric Young is 0 for 2. He struck out and grounded to short. Doug Harvey might have gone downstairs to change his shirt on a rainy night.
See, most of the time when a pitcher comes and sits on the bench now, the bench is uncomfortable. So you have to sit on the top and then your feet resting where you should be sitting. That's the most comfortable part of the bench.
There was some old time dugouts where you did that, sit on the top like that, you could get hurt.
Yeah, right. The ceiling would be so low, like Tiger Stadium and Wrigley Field. Now, the other thing that the reason you want to sit up there is if you've ever been in a dugout, by about this inning, it is so nasty with gum wrappers and sunflower seeds,
tobacco.
So you don't want your feet in that.
No, look at it.
It's nasty.
Oh.
Tobacco used to drive me crazy. I never was a chewer, you know that.
Fortunately, not as many players use tobacco products as used to, but there are still some. 1-2 to Young, leading off the home fifth, and the curveball hit toward the hole, a base hit. So Eric Young in his homecoming to New York has his first hit at Citi Field, and he's now got a 7-game hitting streak.
Got a hanging curveball here from Detweiler. Continues to spark this ball club. You can see the spinner right here. That's a helicopter. Did not get on top of it.
So the Mets have the leadoff man on for the 3rd time in 5 innings. Daniel Murphy has struck out and grounded out. Young has 9 stolen bases, 1 since joining the Mets. It was a steal of 3rd in Chicago.
Well, a little hit and run occasionally.
You're preaching to the choir here.
Throws a lot of strikes. Tough matchup for Murph, lefty. You know he can go to the shortstop hole pretty easily.
If you're playing the middle infield, Detweiler's numbers coming into tonight, got off to a great start this year, but awful since coming off the disabled list. If you're playing the middle infield against this combination, who would you have covering on stolen base?
Second baseman Rendon.
So if you're playing hit and run in this spot, Keith, and you know that if you're Murphy, what are you trying to do? If you figure that they'll cover with the second baseman,
I'm not so sure about that. It's usually the opposite field covers. You want to hit it to the shortstop if you're a left-hand hitter. Now, you remember, Gary, I said it a few times in L.A. I had Wally cover on a similar situation with a left-hand hitter, and a guy pulled a ground ball with Wally covering. Davey chewed me out in the dugout. Told me never to vacate the second base side because that's an automatic. First and third, he gets a base hit. He goes, if you got the shortstop covering, you might hit it hard enough where the runner can't advance to third. I mean, he lit into me. I said, okay, Dave, geez, I'll never do it again.
Murphy just got his belly button out of the way, 3-0. It's an interesting point because the downside risk is so much greater.
And Davey would know, being a second baseman.
He just didn't want to cover.
He was mad at me.
Now in his final year as a big league manager, he says. There's a strike, 3-1 to Murphy. Detweiler throwing a lot of pitches in this game, 83 with nobody out in the 5th inning.
And it is a muggy night.
Got knocked out in the 4th inning of his last start against the Rockies. Gave up 7 runs through only 68 pitches in that start. And that's a borderline strike. 3-2. Murphy thought he had ball 4.
Murph's going to have to watch himself. He's starting to get into a mode of he knows the strike zone. The ball is outside, but the moping is not going to help with these home plate umpires.
Got to figure Young will be in motion here. 3-2, nobody out. Not going. And Murphy floats one to shallow left. Coming on is Bernardina. And he makes the running catch. Bernardina blessed with great speed. He needed it to get to that bloop by Murphy for the first out.
Interesting. Murph never knew where that ball was off the bat.
I tell you what, that is defense. These are the things that won't be in the paper tomorrow. But if the Washington comes back and wins this ball game, say 2-1, then that's one of the big plays of the game.
instead of having two men on. The Mets have a runner at first with one out for Wright, who's already 2 for 2. Single to right, double down the left field line. Young with great speed at first and one out. Detweiler has had particular trouble against number 3 hitters this year, including Wright's 2 for 2 tonight. Number 3 hitters are 17 for 32 against him. It's a .531 average. And he makes David move his feet. Ball 1.
Well, we mentioned it on the trip, and David took charge. You said that he had struggled this year, especially in the power department against lefties, and then he changed that all on one trip.
He was in the 220s. Now he's close to 300 with his 2 hits tonight. And Detweiler living dangerously. He was behind the count on Murphy and behind the count again on Wright. You see how David has hit in support of Harvey this year, while the rest of the team has been more like the Mets' norm. Mets are a 229 hitting team. That's a strike, 2-1. And of course, this ballpark has not really lent itself to the Mets scoring this year. They've gone 26 straight home games without scoring more than 5 runs.
Well, the Mets
ties a club record.
Mets are 14 and 23 at home this year. That is last in the National League.
2-1 to right. Slide step by Detweiler, and he fouls it off.
A nice job getting that ball down and away from David.
Well, he's been doing his best to control Young at first base. And Eric has not moved. 2-2 now to right. When you're able to use a slide step like Detweiler, do you even have to throw to first base?
You don't have to, but you just want to keep it in his mind. What you're doing is you're just making Eric Young keep going back to the bag. It just becomes monotonous for him to keep doing it. Just keeping him alive, that's all.
Now the 2-2, and it's inside to David, full count.
Well, he better stay in there, because David's going to cover that outside part of the plate.
Well, Young was not in motion on 3-2 to Murphy. Now it's 3-2 to Wright with 1 out.
He'll be running here.
Yeah, got to be running here.
He does, and Wright flies it to shallow center field. Second baseman Rendon goes out. And back to first goes Young, 2 away.
Well, got David to chase ball 4 there. A little high fastball up in the strike zone.
First time Wright's been retired tonight. So it's left to Marlon Byrd. Marlon hit the ground ball to short that Desmond wound up throwing in the dirt. Went off LaRoche's glove, and Wright raced around for the only run of this game.
He's got another 2-run homer in him.
It's too early.
Too early. Go all that career without putting his team ahead. Late in the game.
And Bird cracks one down the left field line, and Young is on the races. Heading for third. Tim Tuffle waving him home. Desmond makes the relay throw to the plate. Not in time. A run-scoring double for Marlon Byrd, and the Mets go back in front 2-1.
Is that fun to watch, Keith, or what?
A speed. The Mets finally have some speed at the top of the order. Nice pickup in getting Eric Young. First ball, fastball hitting. Thank you very much. Nicely done, Marlon. And with this man's speed, he's going to score. And defensively, Washington did everything right.
Did you see that second gear he had between second and third base?
Perfect throw to the relay man. Got rid of it quick, Desmond. Perfect throw home, but too speedy, Mr. Young.
39th run batted in for Marlon Byrd, and the Mets go back in front 2-1. So Byrd continues to produce. Young's speed has added a different dimension to this team. Mets are winning right now. They've won 8 of 12, and those two guys a big reason why.
Eric Young has perfect form. He runs like a track and field star.
So did his dad.
I mean, Reyes was always kind of all over the place when he ran. He's straight up and down, perfect form.
2-0 to Satin, who's walked and hit a double to right.
And he lines a base hit in the left field. Around third comes Bird. Here comes Bernardino's throw to the plate. And scoring is Bird. Threw it on to second. Satin arrives safely. 3-1 New York. Marlon Bird right in the middle of everything. Josh Satin drives in his third run of the year, and the Mets lead 3-1.
Well, I tell you what, Satin again in the middle of things. 2 for 2 on the day. Nice line drive. This is a terrific throw by Bernardino. He has a nice arm. Just a little bit offline. That would have been a close play if that throws it on the money. Nice slide by Marlon inside the line.
Read that catcher well. Saw Suzuki was going to have to go up and away for it.
There's a big man flying here, I'll tell you.
Nice hit.
Lines a base hit in the left field.
And good heads up by Satin on the overthrow of the cutoff man. Never hesitated. And now he's in scoring position.
Single for Satin, second on the throw. A couple of big 2-out hits by Bird and Satin, and the Mets are up 3-1. John Buck, the batter, he's 0 for 2. And he tops one foul, 0-1. Young led off with a base hit. Bernardino made a very nice play on Murphy's ball. But with 2 out, Bird comes through, and so does Satin. Nationals bullpen gets cranking. Ross Oldendorf is throwing. Buck is flied out and struck out. For Josh Satin, his first career 2-hit game. He's only been playing for about a week. Getting a chance to play with all the lefties the Mets are facing, with Davis in the minors, Duda on the DL, and taking advantage of the time he's being granted. To the right side, Rendon makes the play, and that retires the side. But
Big 2-out hits by Marlon Bird and Josh Satin give Matt Harvey back the lead after Desmond tied it with a home run. 3-1 New York.
Mets put a 2-spot up and take a 3-1 lead over the Nationals. And Marlon Byrd is in the middle of everything for this team, isn't he? He has been terrific, especially this month, driving and runs, showing the arm on defense, and being a leader for this club. And what a spark the energy tonight with Harvey on the mound. Think about this. Marlon's sport growing up was football. He was a humongous football star in Georgia growing up. He said, you know, here I was. I called myself a mini Jerome Bettis. Guys, in one game, he carried a Georgia record 53 times in a driving rainstorm for 303 yards. He said, yeah, I love to hit people. I went on recruiting visits around the country, and everybody wanted me to play linebacker because I love to hit people, and I did like to do that too, but I wanted to be a running back. Herschel Walker was my guy. I wanted nothing more than to go to Georgia and follow in Herschel Walker's footsteps. But as I was being recruited by Georgia, rumors came of their head coach Ray Goff being fired. He indeed did get fired. He said, you know what? I was so bummed about that. It changed my outlook. I didn't even play in the Georgia-Florida high school all-star football game, and my focus went completely to baseball. Right now, that looks like a pretty good call. Harvey, by the way, gets the first out. We play in the 6th. Gary.
Suzuki flies to center for the first out. Well, the Mets can certainly, their outfielders can run through some people in some bad weather.
I was going to say, if they had some touch football team in the winter, they win.
I mean, you got Newen Heisu, who ran for 260 in the snow in a high school championship game. You got Bird, who ran for 300 in the rain.
That's right. Trying to look at the team. Buxton, interior lineman, absolutely. David's the quarterback. Murph's the guy that breaks the wedge. What about the kickoff?
What about this guy? He's not your quarterback?
Too valuable.
He's the punter.
Steve Lombardozzi pinch hitting for Detweiler, is out after 5 innings and 98 pitches. Overpowers Lombardozzi 1-1. Harvey's yet to throw a pitch from the stretch tonight. Only one base runner, but that was Ian Desmond, and he circled him in the 5th to tie the game before the Mets regained the lead in the bottom of the inning. There's a nice looking curveball for a strike, and it's 1-2. Well, he was given the lead once, and I would imagine he's rather determined not to give the lead back again.
The Mets scored all those runs in Philadelphia. I remember he went out there and had a 6 or 7 pitch inning, and it was just perfect. Trying to look to do that here.
Hey, how about this? They're playing a doubleheader at U.S. Cellular tonight, the Indians and the White Sox. First game of the doubleheader in the 8th inning. Cleveland 19, Chicago 10.
Oh, try the nightmare.
Francona and Ventura will have no pitchers left in the 2nd game.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out with a breaking ball. 8 strikeouts for Matt Harvey. 2 out and nobody on. Let's go to Gary Apple for a game break presented by your Tri-Honda dealer.
Oh. 81.
So let's see, Cabrera leads the American League by about 40 points in batting.
Yeah.
He leads in RBIs, and he's now just 4 home runs behind Chris Davis as he tries to become the first player in history to get back-to-back Triple Crown.
I saw one pitcher in the American League was saying, I wish they would call Cabrera up to the other league. He doesn't belong in this league.
81 RBIs. Oh, my word.
0-1 to Denard Span.
Oh, yes.
Here's a beautiful curveball, which Harvey has been right on top of all night.
He's fun to watch.
Span has struck out, then tried to bunt his way on, and Harvey threw him out.
Line down the right field line. That's a fair ball going to the corner. Span can fly on his way to second. He's going to take the turn and try for 3 and make it easily. Denard Span with his 7th triple of the year. Just the 2nd hit off Matt Harvey.
Not a bad pitch here. Now it's down and in, but still, this is a good hard slider, Ronnie. That's off the plate.
He's a good low ball hitter, Span. But you're right. The ball was in a couple of inches. He hit in front of the plate. And I talked about Eric Young. Well, Denard Span can run too.
I tell you what, that was a pretty good pitch right there. And that's, you know what, those hitters are getting paid too.
The interesting about that play was watching Eric Young run all the way from left field to back up that play behind David Wright.
Now Anthony Rendon takes it high. Rendon was robbed of a hit on the diving catch by Bird in right field his last time up. Rendon 0 for 2, but he has really been swinging the bat well. And Harvey falls behind him 2-0 with Ryan Zimmerman on deck.
Well, that's a must against Harvey. Lay off that high fastball that's just out of the strike zone up.
Two and 1.
97.
Rendon out of Rice University. Came up as a third baseman, but they switched him to second this year because there was no way he was going to play third with Zimmerman around. Although he may end up at third base eventually when they have to move Zimmerman to first, which might happen in a couple of years.
Just go right after him.
Keep it up the ladder on this guy. He's throwing it by him.
2-2 to Rendon.
Slaughter got him. Number 9 for Matt Harvey. A triple by Span, no problem. Harvey set him up with fastballs, took him out with a slider. 3-1 New York.
Harvey night at Citi Field. Tonight's Twisted But True Fact brought to you by Twisted Tea, the hard iced tea that tastes like real iced tea. No opponent this season has gotten a hit off Matt Harvey's fastball when he throws it 98 plus.
No kidding.
Veteran right-hander Ross Ohlendorf takes over for the Nats in the bottom of the 6th.
Well, you'll see Ohlendorf pitching in the bullpen. Guy that was a starting pitcher for the Yankees, for Pirates, San Diego, and he's given us the Paul Burr.
The old school hands over the head windup. Everybody used to use this back in the 40s and the 50s,
yep.
But Paul Burr's the last guy I've saw do it. Garris pops one foul back and out of play.
Well, they do it because in the day, that was the way you generated some power. You get that momentum going to maybe add a little to the baseball. Worked for Bob Feller, didn't it?
Yeah, he threw 103. Well, Ohlendorf may not quite reach that level.
Not a bad pitch game for Detweiler. Keith and you and I were talking about maybe adding a little breaking ball or throwing it a little more, throwing a changeup a little more might help Detweiler.
Third time through the order they got on him.
Detweiler threw 98 pitches through 5 innings, allowed 3 runs, 2 of them earned, 6 hits, 2 walks, 1 intentional, 4 strikeouts. Certainly a better outing for Detweiler, who in 3 starts off the disabled list had an 8.59 ERA. But on a night when Matt Harvey's pitching against you, 3 may be too much. 0-2 to Lagares with Quintanilla on deck. And the slider off the plate. 1-2. Lagares is flied out and then was intentionally walked in the 4th inning. His first career intentional walk. Only his 3rd career walk in 110 at bats.
Down the right field line. That might stay fair. And it does. Lagares off to the races. Worth plays it quickly. And Lagares will stop at second with a leadoff double. Nicely done by Lagares, his 8th double of the season.
Keith again, 2 strikes. Lagares on the recent road trip trying to go to right field with 2 strikes.
Well, when you got 2 strikes on you, you've got to go up the middle. Nice swing on that one right there. And Lagares getting a chance to play. Another one of these guys. The components of this ball club that are making it click.
With his defense, almost 1 hit a day is enough.
Huh?
If he hits 250 for this team, the way it's constructed, and plays defense the way he does, what he has to do, though, is mix in a walk every now and again. Quintanilla pops one up into shallow left, and Bernardina comes on.
Well, if he doesn't mix in a walk, I mean, it's going to be tough. He's an aggressive hitter. He's a free swinger, and you got to get 275, 280 out of him.
If that's the case, if he's not going to walk. Nice hand for Matt Harvey as he comes to bat. Harvey is 0 for 2, grounded out twice. Another chance for Matt with a runner in scoring position. He came up with the bases loaded and 2 out of the 4th, and a comebacker against Detweiler. Now facing the Princeton grad Ross Ollendorf, whose senior thesis at Princeton was about the cost effectiveness of the Major League Baseball first-year player draft. That was as he was being drafted. Along the right field line, Worth across the line makes the catch. Tagging is Lagares. The throw by Worth is offline. And Lagares arrives safely. So 2 out. SNY Super Slow Motion brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com.
Well, nice hustling little ball club, this Mets club here.
You like that? That's like not a huge play, but it's a nice play, isn't it? Taking 3rd base by Lagares.
Yep.
It puts him in position to score on a wild pitch or an error.
Well, Zimmerman, when he comes in here, he's going to have to talk to Ollendorf about, I know there's 2 outs, but Eric Young will bunt with 2 outs. So Lagares is going to have to be heads up at 3rd base, too.
Well, Young's going to bat left-handed for the first time in this game. He's 1 for 3 tonight, and as we've talked about a number of times the last week since Eric arrived, a much better right-hand hitter than left, which makes it more likely that he would try to bunt for a hit in this spot. Pops it up. Rendon calling. Side retired. So the Mets waste a leadoff double by Lagares. Matt Harvey heads back to the mound for the 7th inning, carrying a 3-1 lead. Your local dealer today. By Time Warner Cable. Watch more sports on more devices in the house than anyone else. Call 1-800-TW-CABLE. Time Warner Cable. Enjoy sports better. And by your Tri-State Cadillac dealer. Visit Cadillac.com to search local offers and find a dealer near you. Matt Harvey faces the heart of the Nationals batting order in the 7th inning. Zimmerman, LaRoche, and Worth. Ryan Zimmerman 0 for 2 has popped up and taken a call, 3rd strike. Harvey has struck out 9, walked none, and allowed just 2 hits. Crackles a fastball in for a strike. 1-1. Ian Desmond a home run with 2 out of the 5th. Denard Span a triple with 2 out of the 6th. The only 2 base runners against Harvey through 6. The Mets have been playing a refreshing brand of baseball these last couple of weeks. Line into center field, a base hit for Zimmerman. So the Nats have their 3rd hit, and that will force Matt Harvey to do something he hasn't had to do all night, and that is pitch from the stretch. I was going to say the Mets have been playing a different brand of baseball with the speed that they've imported now as Harvey gets low bridge. But also their pitching has been spot on, and it hasn't just been Harvey. The Mets over the last month have the best ERA as a team in the National League, which certainly was not the case earlier on. And that's been the starters, and it's been the bullpen, with Harvey, of course, leading the way. Now LaRoche, tying run at the plate in a 3-1 game, has struck out and flied out tonight. Changeup for a strike. Struck him out with a changeup his first time up tonight. Jason Worth waits on deck.
Be careful with too many changeups. Yeah, ball will be pulled in the hole
or up in the seats.
Mets normally play an overshift against LaRoche, but not with Harvey on the mound.
That changeup, he got inner half of the plate and down in the wheelhouse of LaRoche, but the off speed fooled him. But boy, you want to make sure you get that changeup to a lefty away, sinking away.
That was the 2-seamer at 94 miles an hour, but it was up. And when a 2-seamer is up, you know what it does? Nothing. It stays straight as an arrow.
One and 2 to LaRoche. Too high. 2-2.
See, all the pitchers are going through that period where it's been a lot of cold weather, a lot of rainy weather. Now you're starting to get into the humid weather.
2-2. Curveball down, 3-2.
Good eye by LaRoche.
Harvey has not walked about it tonight. Pitch got 95. He threw only 72 in his last start, so they may feel as though they can push him a little further tonight. Although you remember 2 starts back in Atlanta, Matt felt as though he made a mistake going back out to the mound for the 8th inning because he was gassed on a humid night. 3-2. Got number 10 for Matt Harvey. His 4th double-digit strikeout game of the year.
Well, you said it, Keith. If you're going to strike out LaRoche, you've got to stay up in the strike zone. His swing is designed as an uppercut, as a swing that wants something down in the strike zone.
And when you're bringing it up there 95 plus, you can go upstairs.
See that 4-seam grip.
Seven times now in his career, Harvey struck out 10 or more. And Worth fielding for that ball as he fouls it back. He's been up twice and struck out both times.
Worth has got to be one of the most difficult, you can see the K corner now, hitters to judge. He can have a swing that you say, that's one of the worst swings you've ever seen, and then the next swing can be picture perfect.
I think Like I said, it was Harvey's 4th double-digit strikeout game of the year. It is actually his 5th. He's had as many as 13. That was against the Braves 2 starts back. Had a double-digit strikeout game in his first big league start.
11, right? Yeah.
5 1/3 in Arizona last summer. Here's the 1-1. And Worth watches the slider. 2-1. Ian Desmond, who hit the home run against Harvey for the Nats' only run, is on deck.
We haven't seen him enough, but when I'm watching Harvey in this inning, he's taking a long time between pitches. It's almost like he looks a little gassed out there.
That's a bullpen cranking here in the 7th.
Starting to take pitches a little better on Harvey too. The hitters, it's still a very difficult mark, trust me.
David Arnsman, the right-hander. Josh Edgen, the left-hander. Ready if Harvey needs help. Right at 100 pitches for the night. Two and 2 to Jason Worth. Flies one foul, out of play. Harvey trying to fight his way through this 7th inning. Tying run at the plate in a 3-1 game. And Worth tries to lay off on a curveball in the dirt. Full count. Second straight full count for Harvey. He struck out LaRoche on a 3-2 pitch. Now he's 3-2 on Worth with Desmond on deck.
I was talking earlier about how hard Harvey was working out in between starts. The problem you have is that when you first start pitching in this humid weather and you haven't had it all year, it's hard to prepare for it.
Zimmerman at first with 1 out. Not running. Worth fouls it back. 96.
Well, it's a good battle right here. Veteran hitter in Worth.
Worth looking for his first hit against Harvey. He's 0 for 6. Harvey facing the Nats for the 3rd time. 3rd of what will be many.
Painted fingernails a buck. Curveball.
He got a piece of it.
Oh, we got a little battle going on here.
It's interesting how the hitters' swings tend to reveal to you who is starting. They're starting to get a little closer. Take a ground ball here, wouldn't you?
9th pitch of the at bat from Harvey to Worth. He struck him out.
Harvey wins that battle, his 11th of the night.
Up and in, Cheddar. Up and in. Beat him bad.
All great pitchers, starting pitchers, have that one gear. They can reach back and find just a little extra. Harvey did it there.
I got to believe here with Worthen out talking to Harvey, Ronnie, that he's just giving him a little breather, maybe telling him this is your last batter.
Breather, and plus you're facing a guy that took you out of the yard. So, let's reevaluate throwing that kind of curveball or breaking ball in the inside corner. Let's stay down and away.
And there's the home run right there. Really the only blemish.
Ian Desmond is at 61 home runs in his career. 6 of them have come here in Citi Field. Only 3 opposing hitters have hit more. Well, on the home run to Ian Desmond, Harvey started him with back-to-back curveballs. Only time he's done that tonight, and the second one left the yard.
And Desmond has, over the last 2 years, has led all NL shortstops in home runs.
Tying run at the plate in a 3-1 game. Zimmerman at first and 2 out. And he darts the outside and just missed with it. 1-0. The only opposing players who've hit more home runs at Citi Field than Ian Desmond: Dan Uggla with 9, Ryan Howard with 8, and Adam LaRoche with 7. Desmond has 6 of his 61. And Harvey falls behind him 2-0. You got Roger Bernardino, left-hand batter, on deck, so this could be Harvey's last batter if he doesn't get Desmond. Might see Edgin to face Bernardino, and then we might see Tyler Moore as a pinch hitter.
Well, it won't be Bernardino if Edgins come in. If Edgins comes in, it'll be a pinch hitter from the right side. More than likely Tyler Moore, I bet.
Harvey behind 2-0. And Desmond watches the slider away, so he's been very careful to Desmond after giving up the home run.
Now the odds are there's not going to be a 3-0 hit sign, but with Davey Johnson down in that dugout, Davey likes to roll the dice. Be very careful here. 3-0. Good call, Keith.
He gave up the home run on the curveball. He hasn't thrown him one yet. And he does swing 3-0, and he pops it up, and Satin has room. And the side retired. Harvey pumps his fist. Fell behind Desmond 3-0. Came with him with heat. And Desmond fouls out to end the inning. Harvey's work is done. 7 strong innings for Harvey. And a 3-1 Met lead at the 7th inning stretch. The All-Star team, after making their Major League debut April 28th or later. Certainly a reference to Yasiel Puig, who many are counting for the All-Star game, even though he's been in the big leagues less than a month. Matt Harvey takes the pitch high for ball 1.
Wonder if there's an angel from last year on there.
Murphy 0 for 3. Bernardino made a nice running catch on his fly ball his last time up. Ross Ohlendorf in his 2nd inning of relief. And the fastball misses 2-0. Matt Harvey, 11 strikeouts, no walks. 3rd time in his career he's had double-digit strikeouts and no walks.
Usually you see him fighting Terry Collins to stay in the game. Not today.
Well, again, we go back to that start in Atlanta 2 starts back when he struck out 13. And he said afterward that he made a mistake. He was gassed after 7, but didn't say anything and went back out there for the 8th. So he's starting to understand that line too.
We always talk about the stress of pitching in a game. stressful pitches, right? Having people on base. We never talk about the stress of pitching in tight ball games. It's the same kind of deal, because every time you're stuck in a 3-1 game, you're a bloop and a blast away from giving the lead away.
Ollendorf behind 3-1, and Murphy fouls it back.
Murphy's bat looks a little slow right now. Did Daniel get a day off on the road?
He got one in Chicago. That was the game he came in as a pinch hitter and hit that pop-up that resulted in the comedy.
He got the day off against Sale, which was
that's right. That's right.
Good thing.
Mets are facing a lot of lefties right now. Murphy pulls that one through the hole, a base hit. Fastball from Ollendorf, and Murphy has his first hit of the night. The Mets get the leadoff man on yet again. That's 4 straight innings now they've got the leadoff man on, and 5 out of 7 tonight.
Well, wanted the ball away and got it down and into Murph. Just out of the reach of Rendon.
One thing I'll tell you, and I know he's at a new position, but Rendon doesn't have a lot of range. You know, he's an offensive player.
He's a third baseman playing second.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, his height and stuff, he looks like a second baseman. He's not an overly big guy. Usually the guys at third base are larger than that. Worth trying to get rid of something that fell into the right field.
It's an interesting dilemma that the Nats have, because you've got Ryan Zimmerman, a fixture at third base, but he's also a compromised third baseman because of his bad shoulder. And you know, who knows if that's ever going to be resolved. But you've also got LaRoche now signed to a contract this year and next, so he's immovable off first base. So they really don't have a choice right now but to play Rendon in second. David Wright pops one up into shallow center. On comes Span, and David's retired. So David 2 for 4 on the night, 1 out.
A similar pitch to Harvey get out in the 7th inning. It's that pitch that the hitter almost jams himself.
By the way, the other piece is Marlon Byrd comes to bat.
Well, Marlon is 2 for 2 tonight with a walk. And there's the double that gave the Mets the lead back, made it a 2-1 ball game. Marlon would eventually score in that inning off a single off the bat of Josh Satin.
One out and 1 on. Bird's double was his 12th. He now has 39 runs batted in, just 2 behind David Wright for the club lead. And who would have figured that when the year began? Bird came to spring training as a reclamation project after being released twice last year, serving a 50-game suspension. Went to the Mexican League to reclaim his career. Had a great winter down there, and he carried it right through spring training and has run with it for 3 months now. Let's get Marlon Byrd for a song. Justin Upton comes in a high-profile trade, and Upton got off to an amazing start, but look where they are now.
Well, Upton came back down to earth. Got a very long swing, Upton, but Marlon is very short, compact swing, very strong. You don't run over 300 yards in rain in Georgia, I'll tell you that, and not be strong.
He's a very big man for somebody who is as athletic as he is. I mean, there was a time when he was in junior college when he was over 300 pounds and had to lose weight in order to be a successful professional athlete.
That couldn't have been healthy, being 300 pounds.
He plays at what, 240, 250, which is awfully big for a 35-year-old man who runs as well as he does.
Almost has that body, Ronnie, like the old days when the Detroit Tigers in the 60s had Ike Brown and
Gates Brown.
And Gates.
Willie Horton.
And Willie Horton was big tanks.
I was thinking that Kirby Puckett is a similar body style of a guy who could run and very athletic.
Puckett was only about, what, 5'8"?
Yeah, shorter.
He was built like a beer barrel.
What a player he was.
Speed, power, defense, he had it all.
Personality.
Yeah. Murphy Murphy at first and 1 out. Ollendorf ahead 1-2, and Bird goes down swinging for the second out. First strikeout for Ollendorf in relief. Monday, get an expert breakdown on this weekend's Matt Harvey and Zach Wheeler starts, plus an in-depth preview of Monday's Mets Diamondbacks series opener with insider info and exclusive interviews on Loudmouths, presented by Caesars Atlantic City, now at a new time, Monday at 5:30, only on SNY. Josh Satton's had a very good night. A walk, a double, a single. He's driven in a run, his first career 2-hit game.
That ball gets away. Murphy goes to second.
Well, that's another play that LaRoche makes 99 out of 100 times. I mean, this ball is not in the. He's got to go there and get it. Just didn't have the good footwork, good reaction. Whenever, Gary, whenever there was a pickoff play and it was a bad throw, and right there, and you can see out of the corner of your eye that you're not going to have, the runner's going to get back to the base. Go get the ball. Don't wait for it to come to you.
Anchored to first base.
You're not going to pick him off anyway.
The error is charged to the pitcher Ollendorf, but that's 2 plays tonight where LaRoche has not been charged with an error, where his failure to catch the ball certainly contributed. The first one even more so than that one. So a runner in scoring position for Satin, who takes a slider for a strike. Mets got the first run in the 4th inning on a ball where Ian Desmond bounced to throw to LaRoche. It looked like the easiest pick in the world, but he let it get away, and David Wright raced home with the game's first run. Mets added 2 runs on a couple of 2-out hits in the 5th, and that's been it on the night when they've had the leadoff man on all night, but really have not cashed in as they might have. 3 runs and 8 hits tonight for New York. That's getting 7 more tremendous innings out of Matt Harvey, and now they'll need 6 outs from their bullpen, which has been spectacular lately. 0-2 from Ollendorf, and Satin punches 1 foul. The Mets bullpen over the last 11 games, 34 1/3 innings, 2 earned runs, 0.52 ERA. And that coincides with this Mets hot streak.
Coincides with Mr. Archman joining the ball club also.
That's true. And his place on the food chain has rapidly elevated. He'll get the 8th inning tonight. 0-2. And Satin jumps back 1-2. You mentioned that Matt Harvey's had 5 double-digit strikeout games this year. Only 1 pitcher's had more. That's Yu Darvish. He's had 6 games of 10 or more. Max Scherzer has had 5.
Yeah, I was going to say
Harvey's
Scherzer.
had 5. Scherzer trying to go to 12-0 tonight. Detroit leading Tampa Bay 4-3 in the 8th. Now the 1-2, and Satin again wastes it. Scherzer tonight, 7 innings, 3 runs, 4 hits, 9 strikeouts. Ollendorf trying to complete a second scoreless inning in relief. And Satin lays off, and it's 2-2. Another good turn at bat for Josh Satin, who's had a very good night.
It's one of those situations with the way that Buck has been struggling. Any base hit tough has got to be sending Murphy.
2-2 to Satin.
Long drive, deep right center. Back goes Span, deep in the gap, near the wall. It's off the fence. Murphy scores easily. Satin with his 3rd hit of the night, an RBI double, and it's 4-1 New York.
Good at bat by Satin here. Fought off a couple of breaking balls. Then gets his fastball right down the pipe and goes the other way with it. Short hops the wall.
Didn't miss his first big league home run by all that much.
Well, he has showed us already that he's got some power to right center field.
3 hits, 2 RBIs, pair of doubles tonight for Satin. And now a 3-run lead for New York. Now John Buck bats with a runner in scoring position. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Buck now 1 for his last 25. Juan Lagares would be next. That first game of the doubleheaders over in Chicago.
Finally, right?
Cleveland 19, White Sox 10. That's your final. Good luck in the second game, boys.
You think they ran through some bullpen?
You got to feel for Robin Ventura. That club really struck.
I tell you what. I watched the first game with Sale.
Yeah.
I couldn't watch the second game. They were so boring to watch, the White Sox. They were just a bore. Felt like Louis Jordan and Gigi.
The Indians used 7 pitchers in that game. The White Sox used 5. Two and 2 to Buck. Josh Satin at second with 2 down. And Buck takes up and in. And Ohlendorf runs a full count with Lagares waiting on deck. Steve McCaddies, whose staff is 5th in the National League in staff ERA. That pitching has not been a problem. And they've straightened out their bullpen to a large extent. Smack to left. Bernardino retreats. Side retired. But the Mets add a run. Josh Satin's 3rd hit and 2nd RBI of the night. Mets lead 4-1 after 7. Harvey's reaction after the foul pop-up by Ian Desmond that ended his night. Let's answer our AT&T trivia question. The only 3 players to make an all-star team who debuted April 28th or later. Well, Bryce Harper did it last year. Joe DiMaggio and Del Innes. One L in Del, right?
One.
And that's not Del Curry. Well, the All-Star game will be here at Citi Field in less than 3 weeks. It's right around the corner. David Aardsma has been terrific since the Mets picked him up. Pitching the 8th inning, Roger Bernardino takes wide for ball 1.
Saw Tim Hardaway, senior and junior, around the ballpark today.
Junior,
by the Knicks, right?
The Michigan product. First round pick by the Knicks. He was the best player I saw in college basketball this past year.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't mean he was the best pro prospect, but he was the best college basketball player I saw this year.
Is he got the whole package? Can shoot it? Can point guard it? All that stuff?
He is a great floor leader.
Wow.
Can call his own number or somebody else's. And can shoot and can take it to the basket. And he's going to be fun to watch. Closest thing to Jeremy Lin the Knicks will have had since Jeremy Lin. Toward the middle on a base hit for Bernardino. So the Nats have their 4th hit of the night. A leadoff single in the 8th. Let's head to the studio. Gary Apple is standing by with this game break. Congratulations to Chipper. Is he going to be here for Zach's start on Sunday?
Yeah, right. He was there for his start in Atlanta. That's the 4th straight year, and isn't it in Atlanta they've retired a number? That's Fernando
Maddox,
Abad.
Smoltz, and who are the Glavin?
Glavin.
Yeah. Fernando Abad up in the bullpen. Kurt Suzuki, the batter, takes a strike. Chad Tracy out on deck to pinch hit. So the Nats trying to fight back against the Mets bullpen after Matt Harvey went 7. Matt allowed a run on 3 hits, no walks, 11 strikeouts, a home run. He lowered his ERA from 2.05 to 2.00. Best in the National League. Suzuki pops one foul. That'll go out of play. 0-2. Well, both these teams have gotten more traction with their bullpen lately after early troubles. In the Mets case, the acquisition of Aardsma seems to have altered the dynamic a little bit, and for the Nats, it was bringing up the lefty Ian Kroll, who has just put everything into place in their bullpen.
Yeah, he has a great arm. Also, Edgin has been better than when he was up before.
Check swing, strike 3 call. Suzuki caught looking, one away.
Well, that's that slider that Aardsma has said he's lost some of his velocity, but his slider is better than it ever was before. Good one there. Suzuki just could not pull the trigger.
So 1 out and 1 on. Now Chad Tracy will be the pinch hitter. It's been a rough year for Tracy, although he does have 3 home runs.
He has been the #1 pinch hitter for this Nationals team. He's 5 for 34 with 2 home runs, and I guess they were 2 solo shots because he's only got 2 RBI as a pinch hitter.
Bernardino at first with 1 out.
It's interesting. All last year, everybody contributed in this Washington National team that won 98 ball games. The bench did well. Bernardino had a good year. He's not. They got Suzuki mid-season. He did well for him. He's having a bad year. Tracy had a good year off the bench. Not happening this year. It's just funny how it changes.
World Series or bust.
Well,
it's the phrase that has been used.
We've said it before. They made the assumption last year that they were going to be in the postseason for 10 straight years. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way.
And another guy that looked terrific last year, a lot of home runs for him off the bench, was Tyler Moore. He's not doing it this year. He's having a very difficult time.
They sent him down for a while.
Just called him back up. Two and one to Chad Tracy. And Hartzman misses away with the fastball. Now it's 3-1.
Their big problem, though, and one of the reasons they're having trouble scoring runs. Harper got off to a great start, but then played hurt for, boy, close to 2-3 weeks, and now is just coming back.
He's out on rehab. Is supposed to return on Monday for David Johnson's team, and that'll make a huge difference in their offense if he comes back healthy. Tracy pops one up in foul ground. Should be playable. Murphy, 2 out. So there's a big out for Hartzman. It's going to be his last batter.
Had it all the way, Murph. Nice hustling over there.
With the left-hand batter Denard Span coming up, Terry Collins will bring Josh Edgin into the game to try and get a big out here in the 8th. Mets up 4-1 in the 8th inning. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon Fios. We'll be right back to Citi Field. Josh Edgin brought in with the left-hand batter Denard Span up. 2 out and a runner at first in the 8th inning. And he comes up and in to Span 1-0.
Well, another huge out here for Edgin. He got a couple on that road trip, and here needs one at home against Span.
Last pitch Tuesday night in Chicago, a hitless inning. Span tripled down the right field line against Matt Harvey in the 6th. One of only 3 hits against Harvey tonight. And Edgin gets it over for a strike, 1-1.
Well, this will be Edgin's only batter. He's in here to get the left-handed out. If he does not do that, it's going to be on Lyon right there down the bullpen to get the youngster out, Rendon.
Question is Bobby Parnell available tonight? He has worked each of the last 2 nights getting a save.
David Wright in at the corners. At the corner, excuse me.
Span hits it out to right center. And Lagares can't make the diving stop. Gets it on a hop to third. Goes Bernardina, and in at second is Span with a double. So Lagares came a long way to make what looked like an impossible play, almost plausible, but came up a little short.
Well, this could have been very, very dangerous. It could have hit his glove, and he could have kicked it into right field. it could have been big trouble, but he got good hands here. I tell you what, he gets up and makes a heck of a throw, and Murphy doesn't cut the ball off. He throws out Span at second base.
So just like that, the Nats will get the tying run to the plate. Edging out, Lyon in to face Anthony Rendon. 4-1 New York in the 8th. We'll be right back.
Oh, boy.
Brandon Lyon comes in to face Anthony Rendon, tying run at the plate, and he gets the first pitch in for a strike.
Boy, what an important pitch there for Brandon Lyon, the veteran. You see his numbers on the season. Presented to you by Caesars Atlantic City.
Hasn't pitched since Sunday in Philadelphia when he turned in 2 scoreless innings. Rendon 0 for 3 tonight, struck out twice against Matt Harvey. 2nd and 3rd and 2 out. And the slider off the plate. A ball and a strike. Well, David Arnsma began the inning, gave up a leadoff hit to Bernardini. He's now at 3rd. And Edgin came on, gave up the 2-out double to Span. He's at 2nd. Ryan Zimmerman looming on deck. 1-1 to Rendon. And the slider off the plate, and it's 2-1. Well, the Mets bullpen has been on a tremendous roll. Mets have won 8 of the last 12, and that bullpen has been a key factor.
Well, that last run that Josh Satin drove in is a very big, looms large right now. 3-run Met lead.
Scott Rice ready in case Adam LaRoche gets up in this inning. Here's the 2-1. Rendon trying to take it the other way, fouls it off. Let's look at the relay when Span doubled a moment ago.
I am going to circle Murph right there. Murph just didn't. It's his inexperience at second base. Murph ran out into the outfield. There's plenty of time for Murph to look over his right shoulder to see what Span's doing. He never looked. He had no idea that Span was trying for 2. If he had looked over his shoulder, he would not have relayed that ball. That ball was right on target. Span's thrown out at second.
And if you look closely, you can see Quintanilla looking at Murphy as if to say, why'd you cut it off? We had a chance at him. Would have been tough. I mean, Span is so fast, but the throw appeared to be on line, and they might have had a chance to get him. Now Lyon's gone 3-2 on Rendon. Let's play him as a right field hitter in the outfield. 3-2. Ball 4, and the bases are loaded. So now the tying runs are on base. And Ryan Zimmerman will get a crack at it.
And that is the man you did not want to face, Ronnie.
These games always seem to come down with the Nationals, with Zimmerman up with a chance to do some serious damage.
Well, if Bobby Parnell had not pitched the last 2 days, I would say this would be a prime spot for Bobby to try and get a 4-out save. But I don't think Terry's going to run him out there for 4 outs because he's pitched the last 2 days.
Well, we gave all those great numbers, but you would hope that it wouldn't take you 3 guys to get 3 outs. But that's what it looks like here.
Zimmerman has had 2 career at-bats against Lyon, and he has 2 hits in those 2 at-bats. Bernadina at third, Span at second, Rendon the tying run at first. Zimmerman 1 for 3 tonight, single to center his last time up. And the line keeping it away, ball 1.
Zimmerman, you've got to pound in. He's a high ball hitter. He does swing, have a level swing. Anything from the belt up, he's treacherous.
Having LaRoche on deck, Scott Rice ready for him if it comes to that. 1-0 from Lyon, and Zimmerman drives one to the gap in left center field. That's down for a base hit. Bernadina is in. Span scores. Here comes Rendon. He will score the tying run. A bases clearing double for Ryan Zimmerman, and the Nationals have tied the game at 4. And Matt Harvey's chance to get a win tonight goes out the window.
Well, hanging. Oh, that's a fastball. Wanted to get it in. No sink at all. And Zimmerman clutches out. Back runner is the one you want to keep your eye on. The front 2 runners are easily in. 2 outs. They're going to be in motion. Rendon runs well, scores easily. That's clutch.
And Young's throw sailed over both cutoff men. So Lyon couldn't get the job done after Edgin gave up a double to his only batter. Lyon gives up a walk and a bases clearing double. Now Scott Rice comes in to try and keep the game tied. You know how another big late inning hit for Ryan Zimmerman against the New York Mets. A bases clearing double.
Wanted to come inside, got it inside, but not much movement. And Zimmerman, who really stands off the plate. Big leg kick. Look at that beautiful swing. It's lucky he didn't get under that, and that would have left the yard. He crushed it.
So now Scott Rice will try and pick up the pieces for the guys who preceded him. 4th reliever of the inning after Matt Harvey went 7. Arnsma went 2/3. Neither Edgin nor Lyon retired a batter. Now Rice comes in to face LaRoche and fires a fastball for a strike.
Nope, LaRoche has only had one at bat against Rice, and that's an 0 for 1. Tough mark though, Keith, because LaRoche is a down hitter. Rice is a down pitcher.
Rice pitched yesterday in Colorado, gave up a couple of hits, but got a big strike out of Carlos Gonzalez in the 8th inning. Zimmerman dancing off second, trying to distract him. And he gets ahead on LaRoche, 0-2. So it's a no decision for Matt Harvey tonight. He'll stay at 7-1, even as he lowered his ERA to 2.00.
Atrocious.
And for a Met bullpen that allowed just 2 earned runs in the last 11 games, they've given up 3 in the 8th inning tonight. And LaRoche goes down swinging. Rice takes care of him on 3 pitches. The inning comes to an end, but Zimmerman's 3-run double ties the game, going to the bottom of the 8th. For the first of 4. Coverage begins Monday nights at 6 o'clock right here on SNY. Well, Tyler Clippard comes in for the Nationals now that they've tied the game as we go to the bottom of the 8th.
And you were talking about, Gary, getting their bullpen in order. Clippard has turned around his season also. See those numbers, opponent's average. Outstanding for Clippard. Only 19 hits in 32 and 2/3 innings.
That's up the lower third of the order coming up. Lagares, Quintanilla, and the pitcher spot in the bottom of the 8th inning. So the Mets have allowed a 3-run lead to get away. And obviously it's on the bullpen for allowing that to happen. But keep in mind also that the Mets have left 8 runners on base. They've had the leadoff man on 5 out of 7 innings, but have only cashed him in twice. And Lagares trying to push a bunt on a pitch that was up and out of the strike zone, and he did offer at it. 0-1.
And a Met bullpen that has been solid of late.
He just got himself hit in the helmet.
Wow.
Clippard, the 3rd Washington pitcher of the night. Ross Ollendorf, 2 innings in relief, allowed a run on 3 hits. Changeup sits high, 1-1. Lagares had an opposite field double behind in the count his last time up. That came leading off the 6th inning, but the Mets couldn't get him around. The 5th time this year that Matt Harvey's given up 1 run or no runs and gotten a no decision. If you give up 1 run or no runs, you should get a win. That would give him 12. But he only has 7. Two and 1 to Lagares, leading off the home 8. A swinging strike on the fastball, 1-1. Now the Orioles came from 3 runs down to beat the Yankees tonight 4-3. Tommy Hunter went 2 innings to get the save.
Wow.
I don't know if that was a Josh Johnson overworked night or something wrong with him, but hey, McLeod hit a home run for the Orioles. Here's the 2-2. Got him off the fists of Papa. Desmond back. 1 away. So Clippard gets Lagares to pop to short. 1 out in the last of the 8th. And now Omar Quintanilla comes to bat. Manny Machado had his 37th double in that game for the Orioles. The major league record is 67. It stood since 1931.
That's right.
And the Orioles just played their 81st game tonight, so they're halfway through the season. So he's on pace for 74.
First full season for Machado this year.
Well, he's what, 21?
Yeah.
Here's Quintanilla, 0 for 3 tonight, 0 for his last 16 as he takes ball 1. Jordani Valdespin has come out on deck to pinch hit. And the changeup misses. 2-0 to Quintanilla. Mets 4 runs, 6 hits. Excuse me, Mets 4 runs, 9 hits. The Nationals 4 runs, 6 hits.
Quintanilla should get a pitch to hit here.
3-0.
Clippard's motion, you'll see this is like batting off him. Straight over the top like Iron Mike.
Clippard will walk people. You know Quintanilla is going to take a pitch here. And it misses, ball 4, so the Mets have the lead run aboard. With Valdespin coming up to pinch hit. Here's your Mets box score, brought to you by Volkswagen. Big night for Josh Satin, 3 for 3, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs. David Wright with a couple of hits. Marlon Byrd with an RBI double. Well, Valdespin has victimized Clippard before. Hit a home run against him in Washington last year. 1 for 6 against Clippard in his career.
Outfield for the Washington Nationals is playing no doubles, extremely deep against Valdespin.
Valdespin with 4 home runs this year, including 1 as a pinch hitter. 6 pinch hit home runs in his relatively brief career. Quintanilla at first with 1 out. And the changeup in at the knees for a strike.
Long road for Clippard, who's found a great home in the bullpen of the Nationals. His first game in Flushing, I'll never forget. He pitched the second game of a doubleheader as a Yankee.
Valdespin had his opportunity to get some playing time and really did not make the most of it. He has been struggling.
Got a start in Chicago when Murphy got a night off Tuesday night, went 0 for 3. His first at bat since then. And Clippard gets ahead of him 0-2.
Fastball right down Broadway.
Now on 0-2, Valdespin pops it up. Desmond looking at the runner, seeing if Valdespin is running it out. He had a notion of letting it drop if Valdespin was lollygagging. He was not. And so he made the grab for the second out. So 2 out. It's left to Eric Young, who's 1 for 4 in his first game at Citi Field. Singled and scored in the 5th inning.
Well, there's Eric Young's splits for his career, lefty-righty. Better right-hand hitter than left-hand hitter.
He's 1 for 2 in his career against Clippard. Batting here with Quintanilla at first and 2 down. 4-4 game of the 8th. And he pops one foul back and out of play. Well, the Nationals bullpen was really struggling until recently, but over their last 19 games they've got a 1.72 ERA, which has moved them up in the rankings.
And the reason that you thought it was going to be their strength is because they were a great bullpen last year and then added Soriano.
But they left themselves naked from the left side, and it cost them early. But they found an answer there. With the pitching of Ian Kroll, and Fernando Abad has done well also. Now they've got a couple of left-handers they can rely on, and it's moved the other guys into better situations.
Well, Abad's pitched in 15 games, and Kroll really has only been in 8 ball games. Kroll's been very good, as well as Abad. Abad's got 2 losses.
1-1 to Young, and Eric swings and foul tips the changeup. 1-2.
Thought Ian Kroll, in fact, made his debut against the Mets in Nationals Park.
Well, Kroll, right-handers are 1 for 16 against Kroll, and left-handers are 2 for 14. So he's getting people out.
One, 2 to Young. Tries to hold, and he stopped it in time. 2-2.
Did not swing. Doug Eddings does not ask for help.
And Suzuki didn't ask him to ask for help.
I think that Clippard's doing Young a favor with that changeup.
2-2 to Eric. And that's inside. A full count to Young. That'll get Quintanilla the automatic start.
It's a big pitch.
Quintanilla is not a speedster, so this is definitely useful if Young hits one on the gap. Bobby Parnell getting ready to pitch the 9th inning. And Suzuki's going to come out for a chat before Clippard throws this next pitch.
Probably want to talk it over, see what Clippard wants, make sure they get the pitch right. I mean, Clippard just loves to throw his changeup 3-2.
Young's only home run this year has come as a left-hand batter, even though he's got a much higher average right-handed. Change-up grip. And he just got a piece of it. Quintanilla drew a 1-out walk. And gets set to run again. 3-2 to Eric Young Jr. Little tapper. Suzuki chases after it. And the low throw. He's out. Oh. This time LaRoche was able to pull it out of the dirt after failing to make connection earlier in the game. A nice pick by LaRoche. And Young is retired to end the inning. That's how a Gold Glove first baseman plays it. They go to the 9th time.
Into the game. Just recently, his last outing yesterday, got his 14th save. Just outstanding numbers for a great season so far for Parnell.
Well, going to go through the meat of the order here in Worth, Desmond. The two power hitters of this team. Well, one of the big four in the lineup. Two of the big four, excuse me.
Worth came up 3 times against Harvey tonight, struck out all 3 times. 3 of the 11 strikeouts for Harvey, who was brilliant again tonight, but comes away with a no decision as the Mets bullpen was unable to protect a 3-run lead in the 8th.
And Worth hits one to left center field. That'll fall for a base hit. Lagares over quickly, cuts it off. Worth trying for 2. The throw to second is not in time.
Nice hustle.
And Worth's in safely with a leadoff double.
Nice hustle. Just off the end of the bat, a little soft liner. Lagares gets it and comes up throwing, but Worth just out of the box. He smelled this double. He knows how important it is. 9th inning here. Leadoff double's huge.
Tim Hardaway Jr. here at Citi Field tonight. The Yankees hoping to get the left side of their infield back one of these days. And more on the Aaron Hernandez case as well. Geico Sports Night tonight after the postgame right here on SNY. Well, the Mets had themselves a 4-1 lead in the 8th inning. 2 out, bases loaded, and Ryan Zimmerman had the biggest hit of the night.
Well, the bases loaded double in the gap. The big one was the batter before.
Yeah.
That was the walk issued by Lyon when he came in, and that was to Anthony Rendon, the rookie, and that got the veteran up there, the number 3 hitter, and Mr. Clutch.
And now the Nats, having added 2 in the 9th, handed off to Drew Storen, who has not had a very good year after his postseason meltdown last year.
Yeah, he did. He had a bad postseason, melted down, especially with the walks. Trying to regroup here with a chance to save a game.
He pitched yesterday against the Diamondbacks, struck out the side in the 8th inning. They'll get 2, 3, and 4 in the Mets batting order. Soriano, who has been Davey Johnson's closer, has worked 3 days in a row, so he's staying away from him tonight. Daniel Murphy 1 for 4 leads off and takes a strike from Storen.
Storen, a good curveball. Not overpowering, but a big hook. He learns his leg kick, Ronnie. Very stiff.
Well, he doesn't have any leg kick. That's what, well, he almost like pushes his heel out and his toes straight in the air.
Wright and Bird to follow behind Murphy, who's 1 for 3 against Drew Storen. And he fists one foul, and it's 0-2.
Well, this is what you'd like to see. You got a 2-run lead. Murph can hit a home run. He's not going to beat you. Go after him. Can't walk people. See too many walks in today's game. I'm tired of it.
To Murphy. Grounded down to LaRoche. And he takes himself 1 out.
Just kind of turns that toe in towards center field and then opens it up before delivering the ball.
Very unusual.
Probably started that once he got in the bullpen. That's his version of a slide step for Mr. Storen.
And Storen looking for his second save of the year.
David Wright 2 for 4 tonight. A single to right, a double to left, his first 2 at bats. Since then he's popped out and flied out. David's 3 for 10 against Storen, trying to get aboard for Marlon Byrd to give the Mets a chance here in the last of the ninth. And takes the breaking ball outside, ball 1. Tyler Clippard worked a hitless 8th. He stands to be the winner. Bobby Parnell giving up 2 in the ninth. He stands to be the loser unless the Mets can rally. Of course, their last home game, they came from behind on a walk-off home run by Kirk Neuenhuis in the ninth inning. One and one. One to right, and the breaking ball off the plate. 2-1. Let's need a base runner any way they can get one. Drew Storen was the other first-round pick the year the Nats got Steven Strasburg #1. He went with the 10th pick out of Stanford and quickly made it to the big leagues as the closer. Wright hits it in the air to right field, and Jason Worth right there waiting. 2 out. So the Mets are down to their final out. Right after we're done here, it's WB Mason postgame live. The triumvirate in the studio tonight. Chris Carlin, Jim Duquette, Bobby Valentine will break down tonight's game. Mets 1 out away from a defeat that looked like a sure win for 7 innings. Matt Harvey was tremendous, but the Mets bullpen, which had been so solid over the last dozen games, betraying them tonight. Marlon Byrd is 1 for 4. He doubled in a run back in the 5th inning. And the curveball from Storen misses for ball 1. It was a group effort in that bullpen, just as it had been in a positive vein. But 5 runs in the last 2 innings for the Nationals, changing the dynamic and making the Mets all of a sudden feel a whole lot more tired. Slow ground ball. Zimmerman comes in, and that'll do it. A 1-2-3 ninth for Drew Storen. A horribly disappointing loss for the Mets on a night when Matt Harvey gave them 7 brilliant innings. Ryan Zimmerman with a 3-run double in the 8th, and then Ian Desmond with an RBI double in the 9th, and the Nationals rallied to win it 6-4.
Well, the bullpen of Ohlendorf, Clippard, and Storen was better than the Mets, as the Nationals scored 5 runs late off that Mets bullpen.
Well, the early Met lead. This is the tough, a good road trip, 7-4, winning that game from coming from behind in Colorado. That young man right there, another no decision for Mr. Harvey. Tough loss for the Mets.
Well, Harvey was great. 7 innings, 1 run, 3 hits, no walks, 11 strikeouts. Should have been enough to win, but it wasn't on this night, as the Nationals rally to take the opener of this series and nudges them over 500. 6-4 the final as you look at the Time Warner Cable game summary. More coming up from Flushing in just a moment.